I won't know, honestly, until post-production because first time using them.
Dude,
Yeah.
I do that a lot, like, especially with just editing reels. You don't see it when you're filming it.
No.
And then when you get out, you're like, fuck, there's a piece of bird shit there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Dude, I did this video once where I went down to Windsor. I dressed up in a ghillie suit and I like scared people as they were coming past. I was like dressed as a pot plant, you know, standing in the middle of the markets. And I did it for like an hour and it was like so nerve wracking. It was one of my first ever videos I ever made in public.
That's hilarious.
And I was by myself and I was like, shit, had my camera set up hidden, scaring people. And then it turned into a really good day. People were like getting involved, like people taking photos with me. It was really good. And then when I finally came back home, I realized that I had the audio off on the microphones that I was using. And it was like a video of literally just a tree guy going. There was no sound or nothing. So I actually went back there and did it again that day. But it was actually a really good day, you know? Like, realistically, I wouldn't mind doing that again. Lots of people. One guy got the shits at me, dude. One guy like, you're lucky I don't bash you right now. I was like,
Windsor.
Sorry, bro.
That's hilarious.
It was
There's
a
a
good
dude
day.
that does that in Vegas.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen him.
Like, he full on, bro. He does the same thing. Sits
Yeah.
in a ghillie suit and just scares people, but they're drunk. Like,
Yeah.
it's Vegas. It's on the strip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny, man.
That's sick. I was thinking about doing a series like going around. Imagine I could do like Mount Druitt. I could do all these Bankstown. You know,
Bankstown would be hilarious.
yeah. Imagine that just scaring Moe edition. Yeah,
Do it
bro.
at kebab stores, bro.
Yeah,
Just sit in the side of a kebab store. It's
side shop.
What the fuck's a tree there, bro? Giggity.
You know what's cool too? I'd get the same people like twice. They'd be like, "Oh, you got me again." Yeah, but I'm not biased. I'm scaring old people in wheelchairs. Like, to me, fucking dogs.
There's
kids.
the dude who does it in Vegas. He accidentally scared like a lady with Down syndrome, and she started crying, and he's like, "What have I done?" Bro, I was like, that would be the most horrible situation, bro. She's full bawling her eyes out, and he's like, "Oh shit."
Bro, I spoke to one of my mates yesterday on the phone. Actually, I might be seeing him late tonight, and he was saying he went to the cinemas the night before.
Yeah.
And he said he watched The Final Destination, the new one that came out, and he said there was people just giving commentary for the whole movie, and he was just like, "Shut up!" But no one was reacting, and he's just like keeping his cool, and he's a very hot-headed guy. And then he saw a grown adult with all these teenagers as well, and he's like, he wanted to go have a chat with him after. As he went over there, they were all Down syndrome people. Like, there was like 10 of them, and he's just like, I just said to him, I said, "Thank God you kept your cool, bro." Like, that would have been the worst thing, bro.
That is rough, dude.
Yeah.
He dodged an absolute bullet.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we have already. I'll tell you what. I want to keep a lot of that in the conversation. All right, so I'll keep that in. But I think it's pretty cool, bro, that you don't live too far from me over at Marsden Park. So how you always lived at Marsden? Because Marsden's only like new, pretty much. So how long have you been there for?
Like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah,
nice.
just moved there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty much, bro. And before that, it was in Blacktown.
Yeah.
For like 5 years. And then I grew up in Glenwood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
so I
bro,
moved
it's
there,
crazy because the more I'm talking to you, it's like I'm remembering like I've seen you a million times.
Dude, I've literally seen you so many times, bro.
Yeah.
Literally. Like I said on the phone when we had our conversation,
Yeah.
you came up on my list for like kids who are at youth. And I was like, oh, like, I'll see if he's got Facebook. And then Josh Painter was like, oh yeah, this is his Facebook.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
Okay, sweet. So I've literally seen your first episode. Like, your first episode came up on my feed.
Bro, do you know, I wasn't going to say that on the episode. I'm glad you did as well, right? But like, I've told that story since you told me that 30 times to people, eh?
Bro,
Like, I'm just like,
nuts.
you won't believe how crazy this world is, eh?
It's nuts. It's so small, dude.
Yeah,
so small.
bro. And it's crazy to think that I've been a fan of the shoes and the art for so long as well. And think of how many years, like, I'd seen the TN Australia reposting before we had collaboration.
Yeah.
Right? So I would have been seeing the stuff the whole time and not even known either, you know what I mean, at the same
Crazy,
time.
bro.
It's just such a crazy world, bro, yeah.
So small. So small.
So how old would you have been I reckon when I was signing up to like RDGs and stuff like that and fuel. I think I was like 14. I always say I was about 14, so I think I was. And then how old would you have been to be in that older position?
I think 18.
18.
Well, yeah, just turned 18. So I started like leadership at 18, like doing RDG and stuff like that with the boys and the kids. So yeah, man, you would have been the first couple set of boys.
Okay, that's cool. So, and did you go through the same system like I did, like going there as like 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old?
Yeah. So I started going like when I was like in year 8, so like 14.
Okay. Same,
like
I think. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, roughly around the same time.
Nice.
So
I loved it, bro. I gotta be honest. It was actually, I think about it all the time. I think that period of my life, going to the youth center on Friday night, like it was actually chaos. I gotta be real. Like it was actual chaos all the time.
It was pretty nuts. Did you go to like to the younger group, or were you in the old, you would have been the younger ones, eh?
I never went
to Fuel.
Yeah. The other one was called Wildlife.
Yeah, so that's what I was in.
Okay, yeah. I think I was always too young for Wildlife. I would have went a couple of times when they did mergers and stuff.
Yeah. So when you go to year 10, that's when you move to Wildlife because it's senior.
Okay.
Like senior years.
Yeah.
So that's why your name came across for me because it's like, oh, he's been in Fuel. Like this is a kid who's coming up. So that's why it was like, yeah, he's on your list. I was like,
nice. That's cool. So
it's crazy, bro.
So you would have had the same kind of thing happen to you? You would have had the older lads like be your leaders, youth leaders and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's very important, eh? Like I reflect a lot with people in conversation about how important it is to have older positive role models, especially around 14, 15.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
100%. Even if they just can like be someone for you to talk to. That was the biggest thing. Is just because, I mean, like I come from a broken home. Like my dad, like we got my parents got divorced when I was like 11. So those are like such pivotal years, you know, where you need someone. You need a mentor. You need someone to pull your head in, basically.
Yeah. Dude, if life was perfect at 11, 12, it'd still be the hardest shit ever. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, it's like you figuring out, bro, chasing these girls. This girl doesn't like you. You wish she did. Like, you kept my mate's like a piece of shit. I don't even want him to be my mate anymore. You're like trying to figure yourself out.
Dude, it's nuts, man. Yeah. Just what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh, dude, I didn't even ask myself that for like 10 years after 12, bro.
Yeah, same. Well, maybe not that. I was more worried about freaking
who am I?
Dragon Ball Z,
Nah, there was no who am I. Yeah. It was who's yelling at me now. That's what it was. Yeah, nice. And how long did you end up going there? Because I started going back there like, and for everyone that isn't aware, I'm talking about church in case I haven't been clear enough about that, but I started going back in January and I didn't go since 14, eh? I didn't go for the last, I'm 26, so that would have been 14 years, eh?
Yeah, wow.
That's great. That's a long time.
Nice, bro. Well, I did 9 years as a leader. So I had 3 sets of young guys. So yeah, man, we did quite a bit.
It's a big, because when it comes to being involved in any church or community service or anything like that in general, like I go to multiple different churches now. I probably go to 2 main ones, but I'm always trying other ones as well, like just dibbling my toes in them. Not because I'm looking for a new one, just because I'm not trying to put all of my attention towards one building instead of what the actual point is.
Of course. I think that's healthy, bro.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy because like you get to see how other people do it.
And to be honest, bro, it's just a room. It's a mad room, don't get me wrong. But it is like you always hear different people, different perspectives, different ideas. Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, I actually don't like that. I do like that, you know?
Yeah,
it's like that.
It's good, man. Yeah.
But what I was getting at as well was like it's so much time, dedication. Anyone that I see working there, like helping, volunteering, and I'm just like, bro, even the fact that he did it for 9 years is like crazy because like, I'm like, I'm not willing to give up anything before 6 o'clock on Sunday night. You know?
Oh, we were at it, man. Dedicated, bro. Like,
yeah. You would have been doing the camps and all that stuff as well.
Everything, bro. Like
nice.
It was like, honestly, bro, it was probably like 20 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean,
and did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it, bro.
Yeah.
Literally the best thing ever, man.
Yeah.
Just to get to, I mean, coming back to where my dad wasn't around, like not having someone, I I got those people, like I had those mentors,
Mm-hmm.
and to become that for someone was like huge.
Yeah.
It was big, man. It was something that I really gravitated towards,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I was just super passionate about it, bro. I
Yeah.
was like, hey, like, are you starting to think about getting a job? You starting to think about your finances? Like, how you going at home? How's relationship with mum? How's relationship with dad? You know, like, what are you struggling with? How can I help? You know?
It's sick, bro.
Bro.
A big brother mentality is like I use the term for anything to do with mentorship as well, especially when it comes to youth. But the big brother mentality is like it's so drawing, you know.
Yeah.
Especially like, do you have an older brother yourself?
I do.
You do have an older brother?
I'm the youngest of 4.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Well. Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
I don't know what it's like to have an older brother, so I always craved one, and then I found myself naturally wanting to be one as much as I could. I've got a little brother and a little sister, but anyone that I could see that was like fucking up a bit, and it was like, hey, like you can fuck up a bit, but like,
no, bro, there's a better way to go about it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
You know, it's funny. Like, I wasn't a saint as a kid.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, being a graph writer, you get into a bit of shit, you know.
yeah, of course.
So like, you know, like we were naughty, but to like go from that and then grow up past it and see it happening, you can be like, hey, pull your head in.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah. But you also get it as well.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
the
you
most
start to
important
understand
thing
it.
about like being the mentor and being the leader is having the relatability. Having the youngin that you can be like, I absolutely get it. Like I've been there, I've done that.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
it's like the mentality where people say like, don't get relationship advice from someone who's cheating on their missus.
Yeah.
And don't take financial advice from someone that's poor. You know, it's like don't be the mentor for someone that you actually don't know what they're doing and why they're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
relatability is so important.
It is, man.
It's sick.
It really is.
So you did that for a very long time. That's pretty cool. You said you were into graph. When did you start getting into art and graph and all that kind of stuff?
So I would have started in like around 13. I remember 2009 was the first year I started sketching. Yeah. So basically everybody in school was doing it. Like the boys were doing it, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, check out this, like, you know. And I fell in love with it, bro.
Yeah.
I literally fell in love with it, and not the vandalism side, but the expression part of it. Definitely. Well, the vandalism part is fun. But like,
Yeah, I know.
just the creativity. And then by the end of high school, I was basically the only one doing it, you know. And then I'm like, oh man, like I really want to do something with this and run with it. And then when I found out that I can make money from it and do murals.
Oh, you did murals?
Yeah. So I
Wow.
paint murals and stuff as well.
That's cool.
So as soon as I figured that out, I'm like, oh, dude, this is sick.
That's cool. How did you get into the world of that? So how do you like go to businesses that have walls vacant, or is there like websites or people reach? How does it work? How do you get murals up?
I mean, back in the day, when I started running the business and everything, Gumtree.
Oh,
Gumtree
yeah.
was a place to go,
Wow.
to just be like, like there's people on there who do requests. So they're trying to find artists for walls and things like that. And then it sort of started to spiral a bit more, you know, word of mouth and things like that. So
Mad. That's a good idea for a business too, realistically. I always think about it because if you have a vacant wall, people are going to draw on it.
bro, 100%.
If you have a mural, people aren't as likely to. You still will.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
There's going to be some guys who don't care.
Yeah.
And that's just,
Yeah.
There's unwritten rules, man.
Yeah,
Like if you see a
100%.
production piece, don't go over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's like you do a throw up over a what do you call
tag.
it? A tag.
Yeah.
And then you don't do a
piece
tag
over a throw up,
Yeah.
and then,
yeah.
production over
I
a
learned
piece.
that from have you seen the documentary called Exit Out the Art? Oh man, what's this freaking thing called? It's a movie about Banksy.
You need a dude who's like doing your
I
lookup
know,
stuff.
I need a Jamie. Oh,
Yeah, you
Jamie,
need a
look it up
Jamie,
for me.
bro.
Hey, you know what? I've actually got one. Watch this. I can go like this. What's that documentary where the guy follows Banksy around? Oh, I just remembered. Exit through the gift shop. That's what it's called. Exit through the gift shop. So basically they were explaining all the street rules of graffiti a bit and just the unknown things. It was actually a really cool documentary about how street art took off outside of just graffiti. Yeah. And you know how Banksy does his famous pieces and things like that. And then it was all the other people that were underground doing the similar kind of things, you know, using tiles and gluing tiles onto walls to make Space Invaders and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's cool, man. Yeah. There's another one you got to watch called Style Wars.
Style Wars?
Style Wars, yeah. It's it follows like a group of graph writers from...
Is it in New York?
New York, yeah.
I think I might have seen it a long time ago. I don't remember
It's sick,
it.
man. It's like a freaking...
Oh, they drink it every day, eh? Like they have 6 beers and they go tagging.
But it follows like it follows like a group of dudes, and then it goes into like a couple like super famous artists and stuff like that. Like a guy called Scene. So he was massive, bro. He was huge. He's like a legend.
It's cool how you just start to notice, like when you got your eye open for it, you really notice it. Like my favorite Sydney artist at the moment by far, no one is in the same category to me, is Gong. Have you seen Gonga? He does.
Yeah. He's on the M4.
Yeah. It is the biggest one.
Big piece. Yeah.
2019, that one says next to it, 2019. I said it like 2 months ago on the podcast and said 2023, but it's not. 2019.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, there's some dudes who get up, man. Honestly, like it's still alive and well in Sydney.
What about Science? He's another guy I really respect in Sydney as well. Science. He's like, to be honest, if you see videos on Instagram, if you just watch any street video about anyone doing anything, fashion, culture, dancing, like business, you can see a Science somewhere. Like he's just figured out the spots.
He's on it.
He's a freak. So Science is pretty cool. But yeah, it's cool that when you have your eye open for it, like you notice how well people do. Like it's like a full-time passion. Like
it's sick, bro.
You see the guys like Chemo and Suek and all these like names that I just see literally painted over Australia. Like I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, it's nuts. Yeah. I mean, like my side of things, I sort of stopped doing illegals like pretty early. As soon as I figured out I can make money from it, I'm like, it's not, for me, it wasn't worth the risk, you know? Because I'm like, okay, if I want to provide and still do what I love, like, I don't want to get in trouble.
And if you're already making money doing it, like that's crazy. That's everyone's goal, you know. Yeah.
But I definitely understand like it's not money focused. It's not about money, at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if it can pay
about the rush, to be honest. Like, that's what I miss the most, probably.
Yeah,
is the rush of
I stopped doing it, to be honest, as well, years and years ago, because I had friends doing it. I'm definitely not saying what their names were, and I'm not saying what they wrote down either. But like, they ruined it for us all.
Jack Johnson, Steam.
Some of my friends absolutely ruined it for the rest of us. Where it's like, we can't write this ever again. Like you fucked it up, bro. You ruined it. It's making me think too. I wanted to say as well, have you ever driven from like this way to Penrith down, not the Northern Road, so whatever that road is near Windsor, near the end of it, there's like a main road. So if you go down Richmond Road, you can turn right at a roundabout and it'll take you all the way down to Penrith. That way. There's this whole wall.
Production pieces.
I think the guy's name's like Arco or Arcoy or Arnie or something like that. And he's got his own, I think it's the same guy that's done like 50 of them in a row.
Right. He's a beast.
And that's an example of like...
I go slow there.
Yeah, me too.
I go slow because I'm like, bro, how is he making those connections? Like,
and it's just different style, but it's all the same word.
Some of his like letter constructions, I'm like, what the fuck? How do you even think of that? Even his characters are flawless.
Yeah.
Like his photorealism is flawless.
It took me 3 years before I realized it was the same word. I thought it was just a new person.
Is it actually the same word?
It's the same.
I thought it was a bunch of dudes.
No, I'm 99% sure now, because I can't read them now. They're getting even more advanced for me. But the last time it was a different one, which is probably about a year ago. It was every single one said the same word. It was like Arnie or Arnold or RK.
Yeah, damn.
I can't remember what it was. But I one day just clicked and I was like, oh my God, dude, we have a beast here.
That's ironic that I can't figure that out.
Well, I could be wrong. I could have just made that up in my head. It might not even be right. After the episode, I'm driving straight there to check it. I've gone back and delete all that. No one will know. That's cool. So to find her, you just kind of put ads up, all found people already putting ads up on Gumtree and shit like that.
That's where I started, yeah. That was a little bit inside knowledge from a guy who was already doing it. So
how much is that kind of stuff worth? Like, how do you know how much do people want to pay to get someone to come paint? Like,
it depends, bro. Like, it depends on your skill level. One of my mentors, who's Mystery, he writes Mystery, but he's like one of the godfathers of Australian graph and hip hop, pretty much. And I got in touch with him at a place called Street Uni. So
Street Uni.
Yeah.
They have one at Mount Druitt, one at Blacktown.
One at Mount Druitt.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
I spoke to those lads a while ago. I was meant to try and get the guys to come do a podcast, and I'm a piece of shit. I forgot.
No, bro. He was the first person I was thinking like you should get in touch with.
Nice.
And bring him on because, bro, gold. He's been painting since the 80s.
Wow.
Like in Sydney. Sydney.
And you kind of reached out to him.
Yeah, well, like when I was in high school, they used to run like an after-school program for like hip-hop stuff. So Mystery did the graph side of things. So he would grab a bunch of youth and it's free. Like, come down and like learn how to draw. Like, not just graffiti, but like he'd be like, oh, let's do like fine art stuff and sketching and drawing and stuff like that too. So it's really cool.
That is cool. That shit warms my heart, honestly. Knowing people are doing that stuff for free.
He's a beast, bro. He's someone I look up to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's definitely helped me a lot in my journey, and I don't get to see him a lot. You know, like every now and then, but yeah. So in high school, my mate used to b-boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that as I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. I do talk over people a bit, and I'm sorry for cutting off.
I do it too.
I just like to jump in a little bit every now and then as well. But I consider myself to be a b-boy from like year 3 to year 5 or 6.
Dude.
I've performed in front of like a Stedfords and did all that. Me and my mates, I've actually got DVDs of it.
I tried, bro, but I'm too chunky, man. I was just like, I can't do a headstand for shit, so I'll just stick to graffiti, bro.
Yeah.
I'll stick to drawing, bro, because
yeah.
But so they did a b-boy class down there too, and we would catch a train. Like, we'd get on the bus from Glenwood, we'd go to Blacktown, and then take a train to Liverpool. We wouldn't get there till like 5, you know, and like it goes till like 6:30. So we would miss most of it. But that's where I met Mystery, and when I seen he was doing it already, bro. He was doing stuff for Adidas, all these different companies, Disney as well.
Yeah.
He did heaps of stuff for them, and I was like, whoa, like that's where it clicked for me. Actually, that's where it clicked for me, where I'm like, yeah, this could be a career. Like I could do something with this.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro, like we went down there like 2 times a week, maybe once in a week. So Mystery gave me sort of like a breakdown of how to turn it into a business. And then he was like, try Gumtree. Like Gumtree used to work for me when I was starting out. And then got my first gig. It was in Penrith when I was like 18.
Mad.
I underquoted by like $2,000.
Bro, that's a crazy amount.
It was nuts, dude. Like to be 18 and be like, I don't know how much I need to quote you for this. So I called Mystery. I was like, how much do you think I should charge? And he's like, oh, it's hard to say. You just sort of have to ballpark it. And he's like, do your calculations for your paint. How long is it going to take you? How much are you willing to make an hour? And I was like, okay, that's fair. And then when I underquoted. I think I quoted like $1,200, but it was like a 6-meter wall. So it was a big job, bro. It was a big job. And I told the lady, I was like, oh, you know, like this is my first job. Like, and she's like, oh, cool. Like, that's awesome. Like, thanks for jumping on board. And
how many hours did it take to do that 6 meter wall?
I said to her, oh, I think it's gonna be like 3 days maybe. Bro, this thing took me 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks. And she's like, you're still here. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Bro, it was crazy. And then halfway through, like I was running out of paint and like my drop sheets were like ripping and stuff. And she's like, do you need to get more supplies? And I'm like, yeah, I underquoted. I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh, that's all right. But luckily she was nice. Like she ended up like giving me what I needed. Mm-hmm. So I got it done. So I'm very thankful for that. Yeah. But that taught me a huge lesson to start with. It's like, make sure you know your numbers before you start.
Yeah, 100%. I actually do that today. I always underquote because I know the feeling too. You don't want to feel like you're ripping someone off and you don't know how much you actually should be making. And I did a job for someone like in my trade refrigeration job, maybe I think it might have finished like 2 months ago or something like that. But by the time it was done, I was like, I've wasted my time. Like it was like 3-4 weeks worth of shit kept going wrong. I didn't quote for this. I didn't allow for this. And by the end of it, I said, why did I bother doing this in the first place, you know? Luckily, the guy was actually a nice guy too. And he's like, oh, I'll give you some extra money for that pass. And thank you, bro. I didn't expect
But you get
that.
those guys. You get those guys. And then you get guys who are like, sweet. Like, he's done. You know, I've had a couple of those too.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes with experience, bro. Like, if someone's starting a business or starting to charge for what they love, like, I think it's important to have those, like, situations too, you know?
Especially in the beginning, eh?
Yeah.
Teach you what you're willing to do it for.
Yeah, bro. You never lose. You always learn, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, there's, like, something I live by is, there's never losses. There's always lessons. So, like, what can you take from it? And it's with everything, bro. With relationships, with business, with, like, everything.
Yeah,
you know?
bro. I often tell myself nowadays, like, anytime I'm not succeeding, I even say, even if I'm doing it in my gratitude or in my prayer, whatever it might be, it's like, I'm grateful for this challenge. Yeah. Because it's not working. You know? And it's like, no, that means that later I'm going to be either cooler, stronger, faster, richer, smoother. There's something that'll benefit from me sucking right now. You know?
Being shit at what you do.
Yeah. That is cool, bro. How many people do you reckon there are? Do you reckon it's a competitive market, like the market in the world of like doing street art on walls? Say if someone does put an ad out, and someone is wanting to charge, because, you know, you said you're underquoted. So let's just say someone was to charge $3,000. Do you reckon there'd be like 10, 20, 50, 100 people jumping on that wall? Or is it kind of like an underground sort of scene?
I think it's sort of, I mean, I haven't painted a mural in quite a while because I'm doing the shoes.
What about back in the day?
Okay, so this will answer your question. Something Mystery said to me is your skills are your currency.
Okay, that's cool.
Your skills are your currency. So, like, if you can rock a photorealistic piece, like, everything else is piss easy. Mm-hmm. For me, that's the pinnacle of being able to, that's hard to say, actually.
Well, I guess you're painting a bit of a picture then. It's not really necessarily the fact that they want art on the wall. It's whose art do they want on the wall.
That's a big thing about it too. Yeah. There's you know, or we had a Soffles do our piece, or, you know, stuff like that. Like that is a big part of it as well.
This is actually making me excited, thinking, fuck, should I start painting? Imagine that people want me to paint their wall, bro. Like, that's
bro, it's fun.
That's cool.
I came here and I was like, every time I walk into a business or I walk into like something like this, I'll be like, how are his walls? Does he need artwork on his walls? You know what I mean?
That's so, bro. It would have been perfect if we had done this podcast a year and a half ago, to be honest, because the guy that I ordered that painting off, I got that custom made for me. Yeah. He has his own layouts, but then I asked him to customize it so it was personally for me.
Yeah, man.
And then he was going to come paint this whole wall and do an entire piece to do with me as symbolism. Yeah. But as the years gone on and he has not painted it yet, I decided to fuck it. Everyone else can draw on it instead. So before you leave, I've got to get you to sign this.
Yeah.
But I would have got
mine will be like this.
over it all, eh?
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
But yeah, so please remind me before you leave. If I don't remember, you got to sign this as well, because only about every second or third people get to, because I forget.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna put my name on there.
Yeah.
Scratch an itch for me.
Yeah. Yeah. The first person to actually do it was Bomber Sneakers. He was the first person to do it, so kind of kicked it off and got it started. Yeah, that's cool, bro. So how long do you reckon you did it for, doing people's walls and murals and that kind of side of it?
I sort of did it side by side with Foot Locker.
Yeah.
So I got hired at Foot Locker.
Mad.
And that's a good progression to the next segment.
Yeah.
Like,
were you at Blacktown Foot Locker?
No, Rouse Hill.
Rouse Hill.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen you at Rouse Hill then.
I'm telling you, it is such a small world. I've probably seen you about like 1,000 times.
I swear, dude, even through this conversation, memories have been popping into my head. Like, because Foot Locker 100% now, you just remind me of 100 different times. But then even when it comes back to like church days, I remember times not at church, but also seeing you outside of church around those same times. Like,
yeah.
Even if it was
I
down
would
at like
pick up the boys
Norwest
from
shops.
school and stuff, and like take them to lunch and things like that too.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you go to G? Which school did you go to? Did you go to G Wood?
Glenwood, yeah.
I would have, because I didn't go G Wood, but
yeah.
my mates went to G Wood. So like the amount of time I spent outside of the school was crazy as well. So I would have seen you around Glenwood. And I pretty much lived in Glenwood. It's unbelievable.
Bro, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, you probably sold me 20 pairs of TNs.
Oh, you know what? I would have recognized you. I reckon I would have recognized you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've said, hey, like, because when I was working there, like I was doing youth as well.
Dude, I remember us having a conversation around when I was young too
yes,
at Foot Locker.
I remember it too. You came in with your mate.
Yes, bro. What the fuck? My brain is cooked. You know what honestly a big problem is too? Like, and I'll be honest about it as well, is like I did drugs for a very long time, right? And the more I reflect on it, from the ages of especially maybe 19 to 23, I don't really have memory. Like I honestly, I've gone back to the same company I work at now that I used to back then, and they are constantly telling stories about me. They constantly remind me of things. I'm like, I don't remember doing those jobs. Like I have nothing. And then like obviously it made big impacts in the past too, but you make me realize how bad it is, because you remind me of so many memories now that I remember.
It's crazy, man. It's such a small world, bro.
Yeah, bro. Man. That's so cool. Okay. So you're doing it side by side, working at Foot Locker as well. That's cool.
Yeah. Just trying to get by. Like that was like the main income. And then when a graph job would come around, like we'd just jump on it, bro.
Nice.
Do it that way. So.
And then how long, if you're already working at Foot Locker, you're exposed to a lot of shoes, you're already involved in the world of art and painting.
Yeah.
Is there all these walls collaborating yet, or they haven't really started merging yet?
Not just yet, man. It was probably...
Also, did you get a discount working at Foot Locker or no?
Nah.
Nah.
Nah, yeah, we did.
You do?
We did.
You're making me think too. Maybe I'll go try and chat up some of these girls that work there and maybe get a girlfriend.
Bro,
yeah.
You need a supplier.
Yeah. No, it's okay. That's cool.
But yeah, man, like I was doing... just doing murals and stuff, and then like I'd always been into sneakers. That's why I made friends with the manager at Foot Locker.
Yeah.
And during Christmas time, like around 2014, 2015, he's like, hey, like I need a casual. Do you want to work? And I was like, yeah. That's why I've been talking to you for like
yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I got started there, and I was doing murals and stuff as well.
Would be a cool place to work. I always thought about working at Foot Locker growing up. I always thought it would be a cool place.
It was good, man. I think it definitely took my like sneaker passion to the next level, because the thing about my manager when I was started there is he wasn't only into like Jordans and stuff like that. He loved like running tech.
Mm-hmm.
And like Foot Locker being Foot Locker, that was a big thing. Is like, oh, yeah. So like running tech became really cool. I was like, bro, this is sick. Like, I love the design, and that's when I think.
How many years ago was this? Like, say, was this like
2010?
2010.
No, 10 years.
10 years ago, so like 2015, 16.
Yeah, that's when I started Yeah.
Nice, because even the whole running side of sneakers, that hasn't become culturally mainstream properly for probably longer than 5 years, realistically, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a whole.
So he was kind of
too.
educating you and interesting you in all that before it was like the
Yeah,
mainstream,
before it was
like,
huge, I was like, man, this is
before
sick.
even
And
Phantoms came
dissecting
out.
shoes became like something I started to get really interested in. It's like, oh, how do they, like, you know, obviously you look at it and it's just glue, fabric, and some plastic. But like, I was like interested in how they constructed it and like how how the sole stays on and weird shit, bro.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like random things. And then
So then how did the worlds kind of start to merge together then? When did they start to all become the painting on the shoes, you know? Because that's realistically how I became more familiar with you now, to be able to hit you up and do the podcast episode about. So to find out all this familiarity we had, because your face wasn't on your page, for me was so much better, to be honest.
Yeah,
So it was
yeah.
like, yes, that's cool. But yeah,
Easter egg.
so from the world that I know you from, the Marked by Easy, how did that world come to life in that way?
So it sort of was a merge of the two, you know, like okay, I'll tell you a story and it'll help. So early in like my Foot Locker career, I started getting moved around to different stores to like help out. And I ended up working at Para downstairs before they like renovated.
They have two now, eh? They've got
Yeah.
upstairs.
So they've always had two, but they moved. So it was the old store. So it was like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
So I worked there for like a week, and their back room was like freaking heaven. Like you'd see all these new pairs coming out, like you'd see what's releasing and stuff. But not only that, but they had a lot of stuff because their back room was big. They had a lot of stuff that sort of had been laying there for a bit. And so me being me, I was like, oh fuck, I'm curious to see what's up the top of the fucking, what are they called?
It's like
Compactors.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if anyone's got anything up there. So I waited a little bit till I was like comfortable there. And then I like started climbing up the compactor just to have a look. And bro, there was a box sitting at the top of the compactor, size 12. And I was like, that's my fucking size. I was like, let's go. And then like I opened it and it was a pair of Air Max 1s.
Nice.
And it like, I checked, because they got like on the details inside the shoe, you got like the date, like where it was made and things like that. Like on the little size tag.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that pair had been sitting since like 2012.
Wow.
So it'd been up there for a while. Been up there for like 4 years. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, these are dope. So I brought them down. I was like, hey, I found these in the back room. Like, are they for anyone, or are they like, is there a reason they're sitting up there? And like, we've never seen that before in our lives. And I checked how much it was, and bro, it was $22.
Wow.
For a pair of kicks. It was just random because it'd been sitting for so long. So it, obviously in the system, it had been reducing.
That's
and
cool.
it was like $22. I was like, fucking sick. You know? And so on that pair, it had like a leather band. It's called a mud guard.
Mm-hmm.
And like one day I just grabbed a Posca, you know, and it was just like, oh, I wonder what it would look like if I did like a graph piece on it. So I did it and I was like, fuck, that's mad, you know? And then that's sort of like where it started, where it sparked. It's like, oh, duh, I can merge these two worlds together.
And I guess it was like a $22 pair. You're like, fuck,
Bro,
may as well draw on it.
Yeah, it was like nothing. You know?
Yeah. And did you wear them out, or was it just like a piece for home?
No. Yeah, I did. I loved them. I was like, I showed everyone. I was like, these are sick. Posted it on Instagram. Like, people liked it and stuff. And that was probably 2016. So what's that, 9 years?
Yeah.
Terrible at math. But
that's a while ago, bro.
So that's sort of like that was when I did my first pair. And then I started getting into cleaning. So I ran a cleaning service for a while.
And how did that business go? Because if I'm going to go back in time, 9 years, I guess TNs have been mainstream, I guess now completely for, let's just call it 6-7 years already. It started really taking off in like before 2010. So everyone's got fresh pairs of kicks, not just TNs, but Air Maxes especially.
Yeah,
Everyone's got
I was doing a lot
pairs.
of Jordans. A lot of restorations and stuff like that.
That's the one world I have no information about, Jordans.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, bro.
But,
that was...
And I guess was the cleaning, how much, to be honest, I want to know as well, like how much was it to clean a pair of shoes?
I charged 25 at the start when I had no idea what to do. And then, bro, it was just research, man. Like I was literally on YouTube constantly. And then it became, I went from cleaning to restorations. So like restoring people's pairs and like repainting soles and, you know, like correcting whites and things like that.
And did you feel like people, how much of a difference on a pair of kicks does it make when you do a restoration? Like mad?
Quite a lot.
Massive.
Yeah, quite a lot. Especially when I was learning how to do it properly. Because I mean, like, I'd known that, like being in the Jordan, like being in the sneaker community, like there's heaps online, like where dudes would restore shoes and stuff like that, like especially in the States. So I was always fascinated at how they can do it. And then I was like, oh, I can give it a go, see what happens. And
can I ask you something as well? When it comes to like Jordans and restorations, because I know Jordans are very collectible. The original ones and all those kind of stuff, they sell for a crazy amount of money, like anything does realistically, or cars or other brands of shoes or technology even. Does it change the value? Does it make something worth less once they've been restored, or does it actually make the price increase, or does it not really make a difference?
I would say it increases the price. Obviously, if it's done well, you can sort of hike it up a little bit. I wouldn't say too much, you know what I mean? Because there's other ways to tell for quality. So something I learned at Foot Locker is you got to check the tread, and then you got to check the sole inside the shoe. And that will sort of give you an indication as to like how long the shoe has been worn for. Yeah. You know, if it's thrashed, if freaking Homie didn't wear socks and shit like that.
Yeah.
But
I guess that makes sense because the tread's not coming back once it starts getting worn.
Yeah. I mean, if on a pair of TNs, if you do a sole repaint, it's quite easy to tell if they've been worn because there's little like nibs on the bottom of the sole. We call them nibs. They're like, it's like a little. It looks like a nipple. Right? Yeah. When you start to wear your shoe, they'll go away. Yeah. You know, and that's a great indication of wear. So when someone says they got, like they're selling a pair and it's got full nibs, like that means
it's brand new.
Yeah. It's pretty,
That's cool. That's cool. If I'm going to sell them, I'm going to put some nibs on them, mate. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
You can see them. I don't know if they're on mine, but
I got a couple of new pairs. I might ask you after.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Yeah. So then you started restoring all these Jordans back then?
Yeah, Jordans, Air Forces, like pretty much everything, Air Maxes. I was sort of very broad with like the pairs that I liked. My interest started as Jordans. Like I was a big Jordan fan. And then working at Foot Locker, sort of expanded my interest in different types of shoes, and that included TNs. I loved Air Max 1s. My favorite pair of Air Max 1s, my all-time favorite shoe is the Atmos Air Max 1s.
I'm going to look it up real quick so I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm not really sure.
It'll click because a lot of, type in Elephant Air Max 1s, Atmos, ATMOS.
Yes, look at that. Like that?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, that's mean.
Yeah. So
selling right now,
that was
brand new, they're selling for $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
that's light too. That's a light price.
Okay.
But that was the shoe that I fell in love with. That was the shoe that started everything. Like the sneaker obsession.
One thing I wanted to ask as well then, I was curious about, like, since you said you were into Jordans working at Foot Locker, back then when Jordans would come out, are those shoes as like say today, would those same shoes that were coming out in like 2015, 2016, would those Jordans be worth money today? Just like the same TNs that are not released anymore worth money today?
Yeah.
Because because to be honest, I didn't even know they were still making Jordans. Whenever I hear about it, I always thought Jordans were like an old school kind of thing, you know? And so I guess if they're constantly releasing Jordans, it is the exact same industry as it is with any other type of Nike shoe.
Yeah. Pretty much.
That's cool. Yeah. So that kicked you off with your sneaker interest, those Atmos ones.
Yeah.
And
that was the shoe that started everything in terms of like the shoe obsession. Because they first released in 2007, and I probably didn't discover them until like 2013, 2012. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy crap. And then they were like unicorns, bro. Like, you know, like I did research on it. Like there's a company called Sneaker Freaker in Melbourne, which is cool because I've done stuff with them.
Oh, man.
But they released a magazine where it was on the front cover. That's where I first seen it. You know? And I was like, whoa, these are sick, bro. Like I was obsessed.
They're almost like that skate shoe kind of vibe, eh?
Well, the MX-1 was designed as a running shoe.
Yeah.
And then
they've definitely got some skate culture inside that
design. Yeah, there's a little bit to it.
Gives off the vibe of like a DC or like a something like that. Not to throw shade at that
chunky,
shoe.
chunky shit, bro.
It's in the colorway. It's in the colorway, you know.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, bro. Like the designer Atmos is a brand in Japan, and yeah, it just like it started the whole collaboration shit, bro. Like, I mean, people were doing it way before that, but
that was the one that you first picked up on.
Yeah, that was. I was like, whoa, these are crazy, bro.
And then when it comes to like, say you're charging like $25 in the beginning, especially when you weren't kind of knowing what to do and you're learning as you go, did that price increase at all over time?
Yes, it did, because it became like what happened was I was getting too many pairs and I'd have so much backlog.
Oh, so you're busy.
I was pretty busy, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I was probably getting like maybe like 15, 20 pairs a week.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, because you got to spend like 45 minutes to an hour on each one. So it's quite a lot of work.
Yeah.
And for $25 an hour, it wasn't great. You know what I mean? And it was sort of that thing where if you're too busy, your prices are too low. Mm-hmm. You know, that's something I learned as well with business is like if you're constantly under pressure with backlog and like inquiries and things like that, your prices are too low.
I like that model.
And that was a big eye opener. I was like, oh shit, okay. And then I just sort of was like breaking it down. It's like, what am I making an hour? How long does it take me? Again, with the graffiti thing, it was like, okay, how can I use what I've learnt to do this new venture? Obviously.
And how are you advertising? Just on like Facebook, Instagram or
Facebook? Yeah, just doing it that way. Just doing local, and as well, I was doing I was being a bit dodgy with Foot Locker. Mm-hmm. So I would sell a pair of shoes and be like, oh bro, like your pair's nice, like, you know, but they're a bit dirty. And they're like, yeah, I've been trying to find someone that cleans. I was like, bro, I clean.
Yeah, nice.
And then, you know, that's how I would start a lot of my clients.
Nice.
You know? And then
that's a great idea, actually, because you could sell a pair and be like, hey, by the way, when they get dirty in a few months, like,
come and see me.
Yeah,
here's
bro.
Here's my Instagram.
Yeah, that's
so I was doing it that way, bro. So I was really selling myself at Foot Locker in terms of like what I can do, you know?
Yeah.
And that was being around that like 4 or 5 days a week. Like I started to get more of the habit of doing that. You know, I was like, oh, bro, like I got this thing on the side. I'm in a place where people are here to buy shoes or here to look at shoes. You know, I'm in that world, and I was just using that as a platform to grow the business. You know,
that's so smart. Do you know one of my goals this year?
It was frowned upon.
I suppose
like, I definitely got in trouble for it. Quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a shame that it is frowned upon because I just see it as optimizing on your environment. Like I just think that's completely the smartest, most realistic thing you should do in that position And it's like you're not taking any sales away from. You're already selling the shoes.
If anything, I'm bringing more people in.
Yeah, 100%.
Not to have a big head about it, but
oh, dude, one of my goals, and it's been one of my goals for this whole year, is I want to start sprinting into 2020. What are we in? 5? I want to start sprinting in 2026 as a magnitude of all my worlds coming together. So if I'm already out doing jobs in service and refrigeration and all these kind of trade industries I'm in, drop them off a couple business cards or maybe put stickers up in that same suburb at the podcast, and then everyone that I do podcasts with link up and do content and collaborate with them, and then found out a way, oh, you actually know someone has a cafe, go back into service and refrigeration again. Like, let's find a way to bring worlds together. Like,
networking is so important, man.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is, bro.
And it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. You'll kind of be like, I'm already at Foot Locker, already selling the shoes, let's clean them, let's do that. And then how long until you start painting them and customizing them, other than that first pair you did for yourself?
I probably would have started the cleaning and restorations probably kicked off in like 2016. Well, the cleaning 2016, and then the restorations like a year after that. And then like people would ask me, or like, can you change this for me? Like, I was thinking about doing this. And then as well, I would say, hey, like, I'm doing restorations, like let me buy some extra colors and see if I can do some customs. So then at Foot Locker, it turned from, hey, I can clean your shoes, to, hey, if you can't find a colorway you like, I can make it for you.
That's so hectic. Fuck, that is so hectic.
Yeah, man. So that's what I was doing. So like, I would sort of take customers away from the manager a little bit. Like, if you can't find a pair, and it was at the start, it was like Air Forces and stuff like that, and it was starting to become popular, you know, with customs and that. And I was like, oh, like, bro. So here was my pitch, bro. This is my pitch when I was doing customs. So like, hey, like, how are you? Like, yeah, blah, blah, good. What shoes do you like? What are you looking for? They'd be like, oh, I want like Air Forces. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Like, how do you feel about some of the releases that are coming out? And that would be a little bit of insight or information I'd be trying to gather to see if they're liking what's available. And if they're like, oh yeah, no, like I don't really like the colors that are coming out, I'd be like, hey, look, pull my phone out and be like, hey, look, I do customs. If you want something unique or something that like no one else has, or if you just want a color you like, I can create it for you. I can design it for you. I can put it on the shoe, you know. And they're like, oh, this is insane. Like, you know, because it was quite a foreign concept to the general public that could even be possible.
Yeah. And people are picky with their sneakers, bro. When people are into sneakers like myself, like I went shopping Friday. I was just like, I'm adamant, I want another pair. But
you get what's available.
Yeah, it's not good enough. There's one in particular at the moment that I might try and go get at the moment, but it's the Varsity Maze, I think it's called, that just came out. It's the yellow and white with the black strip up the middle. Like that one just came out. Yeah. It grew on me.
But yeah, that's what I was doing, bro. Like I was just trying to sell my work.
Yeah.
You know? And Foot Locker was gracious at times. But my manager was like, I had a couple managers, not to say any names or bring it up at all, but like, a lot of them were against it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously, like, they don't want their employees to sell other shit.
Yeah. It makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, it makes sense, right? But at the same time, like, if people are open to buying the new colours that come out, you can be like, hey, I can change that for you. Like, that's sweet.
Yeah.
You've just made a sale.
Yeah.
As opposed to not.
Exactly.
For you and the business.
Yeah, exactly. So they would they would be like, oh, how do I, like, give it to you? And I'd be like, go and buy it and then take my number and I'll come and pick it up from you. You know, that's how I was starting. I was doing that as, like, a little hustle on the side, bro. It's like I go and meet this person, you know, like sell them what I can do. They'd say yes. They'd buy the shoe, take it home. And then I'd message them later and be like, hey, like, I just finished work. I can come grab them.
That's mad.
You know?
And then run me through. So in the beginning, say you're doing these customs for people, right? How long would you spend I know it's hard because it would vary a lot, but roughly how much time do you reckon you'd spend painting someone a bit of a custom piece?
It was sort of in the beginning. Obviously, like in the beginning, you don't know what you're doing. So it was a bit of trial and error as well as creating someone for something. So a lot of the time I was doing stuff to my own pairs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, I don't want to experiment on someone's product, but yeah, a lot of the time, most of my nights and stuff like that and weekends were experimenting on my own pairs. And then...
Would you like buy a new pair every time you went to a trial? Would you go over the same pairs again?
Like, no, a lot of the time I'd use pairs in my rotation that I hadn't been wearing a lot or like had lived their life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be like, okay, let me see if I can change this or make this any better. And yeah, just doing it that way.
And then if you were, let's just say someone in the first place was like, yo, I like that. Can you change this color? Can you make it a little bit different instead of being blue, make it red, or instead maybe add a little bit something like that? How long would it take to kind of do something like that?
Probably like, I'd usually tell them like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Given the graph background, like given the mural background, it sort of helped me business wise a lot. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that first trial run of how do you approach people? How do you work with people? Timelines and things like that. So I had already had that sort of experience with it. So I'd be like, yeah, look, it's going to take me like 2-3 days. But in reality, I'd be going home and doing it that night.
Yeah. Is it because, is that thunder?
Yeah, bro.
What the heck? I never expected that.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy thunder.
Is it going to be rough today?
That was way loud. Ice cream trucks annoy me too. And to be honest, is that because like, you know, say you're allowed 2-3 days, you have to allow time for paint to dry, go over it again. Like
yeah.
Sort of might be 2 a.m. Oh fuck, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll finish it tomorrow and then.
But I was obsessed, bro.
Yeah,
like, I was obsessed. So if I picked something up, I'd tell them 2 or 3 days and then be on it straight away. So then I'd finish it and then sort of be like, hey, it's done like a day early.
Yeah, yeah. That's mad.
Yeah.
And how
obviously
busy?
not rushing or anything like that.
How long before it started to become like, you know, you had a couple jobs a week, and how long did that kind of take to pick up a bit?
Probably about 3 months, I'd say.
Okay, so not that long. Yeah.
Pretty quick. I was hustling, bro. Like, I literally was hustling. And what I would do as well is I get people to follow me.
Oh yeah.
On Instagram.
Good idea.
So I would get their shoes, but people who weren't interested, I'd be like, hey, just follow me anyway. And then that way, if it comes up, we can do it later.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
So I was growing my social media as well.
Nice.
At the time.
Yeah.
So I'd tell my missus, I'm like, yo, babe, like I got like an extra 25 followers today.
Nice.
Like just purely from like talking to people.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's good hustling.
But yeah,
bro.
like 3-4 months, bro, started to pick up.
What's the busiest it got? Actually, I need to know this. What's the most like? And how long into it? I know I'm rushing a couple questions, but
you're good.
How long
we're on a timeline at the moment, which is good.
Yeah.
So,
how long until it started to get busy?
I think it started to pick up when I did my first pair of TNs.
Yeah.
That's when it was like, because I already got like an airbrush at that time, and I was airbrushing Air Forces and things like that, and then expanding what I liked. Expanding what I was interested in terms of shoes. TNs came about.
Yeah,
you know?
and that I think that had a big wave again in like 2019. It really had a big spike again. Was it around that time?
Yeah. But I mean, like when I was doing it, the culture was still huge. Like the TN community was massive, bro.
Yeah,
you know, like that's a force, bro.
It is
like
a
the
force.
TN community is a force.
But it kind of quietened down a lot, spiked up again, and now I've noticed it's quietened down a lot again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely goes through its massive spikes. But the TN community are like hardcore.
Yeah.
To this day, you can't buy them. You can't go to Foot Locker and buy what pair you want. You can't.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, 100%. So
And how long into painting was it until you did that first pair of TNs? How long into customizing shoes was it?
that would have been like maybe a year or two.
Okay, so yeah.
So I was a bit into it, and then I was sort of like, dude, like, you know, I had been into TNs already at that point, and I'm like, okay, I can try and see if I can paint a pair, because it's different, you know. Like working on Air Forces is leather.
Yeah.
Working on Air Maxes are mainly leather. TNs are mainly mesh.
More difficult.
Yeah, way more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think what gravitated me towards TNs is like the limitlessness of the colorways.
Yeah.
Because there's so much versatility on that shoe, bro.
Yeah. There's
Like,
just texture to it. There's
it's
layers
crazy,
to
bro.
it.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about it, bro. It's like, it doesn't look like any other shoe. You have just as much plastic as you do mesh, you know, and I've always thought you can look at that. This is a basic shoe, and you've the black and the blue blends together so nicely. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It gravitated, like having a graph background, I gravitated more towards the shoe because of the fades and things like that on the shoe. So I was like, bro, like this is dope, man. And then my first ever TN custom, my first ever TN custom was a purple and aqua fade.
Mad.
And I thought it was the freaking balls, bro. I thought it was the dopest thing ever. I look back at it now and I'm like, that's rough.
That's hilarious.
But I was like, oh, dude, like this is opened up an entirely new market for me.
And was that for a pair for someone else?
Yeah.
Someone requested that color?
It was actually one of my youth kids.
Okay, mad.
Yeah. So I was talking to him about customs. Like he would come into Foot Locker a lot. I talked to him about customs, and then he's like, bro, I got a pair of white TNs if you want to have a go. I was like, at that point, I'm like, yeah, like I can have a go at it. Like give it a go. You know, I wasn't really familiar with any of the material or anything like that. And so then I had a crack at it, and it came out pretty good. Like I was kind of happy with it. It was definitely starting to become a learning curve as well. But after that, I posted it on this group TN Talk.
Yeah, under the page,
and like it got a lot of traction.
Oh, I know a guy. One of my mates. He runs. That's his page. Yeah.
But yeah, I posted him up, and it got a lot of traction. And then guys were like, "Hey, do you reckon you could do something for me?" And that's basically how it kicked off, bro. Wow. And that's how the TNs started.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. And then it just progressed, and I started to really love the shoe. Like, really start to like fall in love with the shoe and what is possible on it. Because, bro, like if you look at TNs in the past, like if you look at all of the releases of TNs, I mean not all of them, but if you look at all the colorways that have come out, there's so much versatility. There's so many things you can do with them.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, bro. Especially with the fade. Like there's not many shoes that are iconic because of the fade. You know what I mean?
There might be more colorways now than coming out than ever. I remember when they first started coming out, right? This is talking like I would have been in maybe even year 4. Maybe Air Maxes were really, really popular. And then TNs first started coming out as well. It might have been like 2008 or 9 or something. I can't remember how old I was either. But I remember they were very basic. You either had black and red, or you had red and white, or you had blue and yellow, you know? Like,
super
and then
basic,
as soon as they started adding all the fades together, then they started adding the fade with a different color with the tick, and then a different color with the tail, and then a different color with the tongue. And then and to be honest, to this day, I'm like, how can you possibly get it every color? You can't. There's too many now.
Dude. Yeah, man. A lot of the pairs from like 2005 to 2013 were out of this world, like colorway wise.
Yeah.
You know? And even production wise. So there's a thing we have where there's pairs that were made in China and in Vietnam that were like immaculate, you know, like glue was good, everything was sweet. The pairs that started to come out in Indonesia is what we have now. Aren't the best.
I don't know. I know the difference. Trust me. I stopped wearing them I stopped wearing tans for maybe. I took a couple breaks. So say I didn't wear them for 4 years at one point, and then I didn't wear them for another 6 years at another point. My total lifetime of being interested in the shoes is probably like 16 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like every time I got back into it, they were actually shitter.
It sucks. It does suck.
But then once you got picked up by TN Talk, you put that page up in there, people start hitting you up more often. Is that when it started to get more and more busy? And now how often do you reckon how often are you getting a pair done?
Yeah, bro, that's definitely where it started. And I was posting it on my social media too. So like at that point, I probably had like 3,000 followers.
Nice.
So it was picking up a bit.
Yeah.
And then I sort of started to rotate the content like away from cleaning, more into customs. It got busy quick.
Yeah.
It got busy quick, man. I probably ended up with within a month, I probably got like 6 pairs.
Nice.
And then I like 6 to 10.
Takes
probably
time.
like 6 to 10 in a month. And then it grew. But the more I would get, the longer they would take. So that was my biggest problem, I find, like, and then on top of life and stuff like that, like it got a bit hectic.
And were people always asking for a custom color for themselves, or at this point are you like making your own ones up and putting them up for sale as well?
No, it was a lot of requests to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you make this, and can you do this color, and which was cool. I enjoyed that, and I still do that now. But when I was able to start designing them on my iPad, that's where I was starting to try and push my own work. So I do a little bit of both at the moment. If someone's like, hey, I want an orange pair, or I want a blue and pink pair, I can be like, sweet, I've got, 15, 16 designs I can send you. And if you don't like it, we can tweak it. If you want something different, we can tweak it. But yeah, it was just sort of that.
How much did it start in the beginning? So say someone asked for a pair. Hey, do you reckon you can, make me a pink and black pair? How much in the beginning were you charging?
I was charging $200 for the work.
$200 for the work. Yeah, nice. And were you often buying the tan yourself, or were they buying and selling it?
So given the quality of them at the time, like given the quality of TNs, the make and quality, I was going into work and picking the best ones, the ones with the least amount of scuffs and stuff like that.
Because they come with defects straight away nowadays. Yeah.
A lot of pairs do. It's not just TNs.
Yeah.
A lot of shoes do, bro. There was a surge of Air Force Ones in like 2021 that were just fucking horrible.
Really?
Like so bad. Like sole being a different size to what the shoe needs to be, and bro, defects everywhere, man. It was a bit shit because like if you buy a Nike product, you want it to be a proper, long-lasting product, and they've lost it in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Which is crap.
It's become dispensable.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoes have really become a dispense.
Yeah, bro, 100%.
Shirts are too. To be honest, everything is. I swear, I can't find many jumpers that last me more than a year nowadays.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy. I've noticed that as well, man. I've noticed that a lot.
I watched this mad documentary on Netflix. Actually, I can't remember what it was called, but it was to do with consumerism. So it was like how much stuff gets bought and sold every day, and iPhones. I think it was iPhones sells like 1 million a week or something. Let me just double check. Like it's a crazy number. So
that's insane.
I've gone over my ChatGPT limit for the day, so don't worry about it. I've gone over.
We can pivot.
But it is a crazy amount. But then they also were explaining how many shoes get manufactured and sold per day, and jumpers and jackets, and like the amount of waste they were showing as a animative AI generative model for all of this product was like entire towns.
It's kind of scary, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's kind of scary.
It was absurd the amount of waste gets put out into the planet per day, and it's all actually to do with and it was interesting enough to find that it all came from Jeff Bezos and his Amazon push for instant gratification when it comes to purchasing and owning. Like you could just sit at home and get shit, and that boosted the global manufacturing market.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you look at shit like Temu now, and people aren't like, I mean, people aren't willing to pay top dollar for something now when you can get it from Temu. It's like fucking $3.
Yeah.
You know? It's shit. It's a shit quality product, obviously. You know? But like, it's $3.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what's interesting about it though is like I find that with myself, I'll see nice things come out online, clothing or things I want for work, or there'll be tools on sale or whatever it might be, right? And I look at the price, and let's just use an example like it's a jumper for $180 because it's a pretty generic, good quality jumper, $180. Yeah. And I'll go, it's a bit expensive, like $180, but I really want it. But then when I'm at the shops, I'm like, yeah, I could get a jumper. Oh yeah, $180, and it's not even something I really want that much. And I'm way more likely to purchase something in store, I realize, than I am online.
Yeah.
You know? I guess that's interesting. Yeah. So was that the busiest it ever kind of got? And did you find that trying to take on more than like 6 to 10 pairs in a month was like kind of pushing it, not trying to take on too much more?
Well, here's the thing though, right? Like, this is something I struggled with is not saying no. And I'd be like, yes, I'll take your pair. And it ended up getting quite high.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this is rough. And it hadn't gotten any better, and it hasn't gotten any, it only has just now started to get better.
Mm-hmm. Get better in a sense of like not as stressful? Is that what you mean by like better?
Not taking on as many pairs. Like being a bit more okay to say no to pairs, or like being like, hey, like I'm quite stacked at the moment, you know, do you think we can postpone it a bit, or, you know, like, because I think it's dangerous. It's quite a dangerous way to do things, to keep saying yes to work when you're not able to fulfill the time requirements.
Yeah.
Or even like you get too busy, you start to sacrifice quality. And that's where I was like, okay, something needs to change.
But now you got people on a wait list too, bro. Like that's crazy. Much, Like that's even more scarcity than before. Like now it's like, oh, I hope I'm on the next list. I hope I can get in soon, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's good. It's I mean, it's good for me. Like it creates a bit more.
It's hype.
Yeah,
it's business, bro. Hype. You know, like now it's like, oh, bro, I'd love to get a like. Look at says Australian tattoo artists. There's 3 in my head I'm thinking of in particular, and they're booked. Like you just can't see them. Yeah. They had their books open, and now they haven't. They're like the one I'm thinking of in particular. I might give him a shout out because I don't know him personally. I only know people that know him, but he's 2 years, and then he's closed his books. He's like, I just can't bother.
That's crazy, bro.
So 2 years, like, what's the point anymore? So now he'll just put up a story every like maybe once every 6 months, going opening on Tuesday. If anyone wants it, take it. And then
people are like,
I need that.
Yeah. People are like crackheads when it comes to that.
And then when it comes to that, like I just think, what's the point? A tattoo takes days anyway. Like, what am I going to get? A flower? Like, what am I going to go see this guy for?
Yeah. It's that supply and demand model.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, bro, I
And how long into it? Because you were showing me off camera, like your way of designing the shoes, which is awesome. Like that is
Thanks,
fucking phenomenal. It's so genius. How long into doing it were you working on the template design side of it?
Well, my partner was studying graphic design.
Nice.
And okay, so when I was doing it without it, I would just use like Instagram draw.
Yeah, nice.
Like, hey, we could put this color here, and like, so stupid, but it was the only thing I had available.
Bro, that's how I design people's tattoos for them. I go on Snapchat, I take a photo of them, and then I get photos of Safari, crop them, and I put them on, I overlap them and shit.
That's what we're doing, bro.
That's how I do it.
Doing some like just using what we had basically.
Yeah.
And I would print out an A4 piece of paper and color it in with Poscas and stuff. Like, we can do it this way. And then my partner was doing a Bachelor of Fashion Design. So she had a background in graphic design as well. So she's like, okay, I'm going to try and create a template for you on Photoshop or Illustrator. And then I'm busy, she's studying at the same time, and every time I'd go to her and be like, hey, can you make a template? She'd be like, Greg, like this is work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I need to fix this. I need to try and make this more convenient. And that's where I was like, okay, iPad, Procreate seems the best route. So yeah, so that's when I spent the time to design it and stuff like that. And that's when the limitless colorway started to come in, bro. Like that's when, I mean, I've got probably like 1,500 on my iPad. Just like, what during COVID, I was doing like 5-10 a day.
Yeah. Do you ever just buy a pair and then do them yourself? And then, because I know in the beginning it started off, and I'm not really sure how it works now, but do you buy a pair and do it your own way and then put that up for sale? Is that how it works? Or
not
is it
necessarily.
Always...
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I do that for myself.
Yeah.
Like where...
Like the kicks you're wearing today, which are retarded, bro. That's insane. Yeah.
Thanks.
I told you about my goal to make, and I think I've said it on the podcast too. I want to have the freshest pair of TNs in Australia.
Yeah,
that's going to be hard to beat.
You got the right person for it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's madness. So pretty much most of the time it's when people say, "Hey, I want these colors," and you say, "This is some of my ideas for styles. Are you happy with these ideas for styles with those colors?"
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So the page at the moment, it's got like, I don't know how many followers you have now. So say you got like 13,000 followers or something crazy now. Only started off with 3,000 in the beginning. How and I see the page is like TN Australia, right? How long ago did you start collaborating with pages like that? Because a page like that nowadays, when they collaborate with people, it just changed the game. Because the collaborating on Instagram has been crazy. So when did it really start blowing up, the Instagram page?
I think when I moved more to Instagram focused stuff.
Okay.
So I stopped sort of posting. When I moved to Instagram focus, that's when TN Australia sort of picked it up. And then he was posting it, asking me for permission to post it. And I was like, bro, go ahead.
That's
you
mad.
got like 200,000 followers. Like, go, bro. Like,
Yeah,
don't even ask.
please.
Just take it, screenshot it, do what you want.
Yeah.
And he actually became like a pretty good mate, you know. He'd always ask me, hey, like, can I repost this? And I'm like, bro, go ahead, you know. So he's done a really good job with that page, you know. Like, I don't know him personally. I only know him from on there. But yeah, the dude who runs TN Australia is a beast, bro.
Yeah, there's some mad enthusiasts out there, eh? And thank God for them, eh?
Yeah.
Just doing God's work for us all, eh, out there.
I appreciate it, man.
Hopefully someone makes it like a Sydney, Australian, Western Sydney podcast appreciation page one day, eh? Yeah.
Oh, solitude. He would always hit me up and be like, bro, like, if you ever got new work that's coming out, if you ever got things that you want me to post for you, just let me know. And you know, like, it really helped. Like, it helps so much, bro. I can't even say it really helped. He helped so much, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when like things like I felt like, oh, like, you know, there's others that actually love what I'm doing and believe in what I'm doing, which is cool, bro. It's cool to have, you know.
Yeah, to find support, bro, especially when it comes like, that's the crazy thing about online, eh? It's like, I struggle with this. I think about it a lot because, and to be honest, I thought about it a lot recently because let's just say an app like TikTok, right? There's features on there where you can actually see who's visited your profile, which is a pretty crazy part of the app, but I don't think it's a very helpful part of the app. It's actually, because when I first discovered it, I thought, oh, that's a bit strange because friends would visit, not follow, not like, not do anything about it, and then randoms would find it and follow and like and things like that. And there's actually a feature in TikTok actually where you can turn off you can turn off the fact that it pushes it out to your friends and contacts and people that know you, and it remove that, and then just push it out to the rest of the world, and you get way more traction because your friends aren't going to be the ones liking it and shit. So then it doesn't get pushed past them, you know. And that's the way the algorithm kind of works. Your people see it. If they interact, the rest of the world sees it. And it's interesting enough to know, and I do wrestle with it. It's hard to grasp that your biggest supporters are people you've never met. and your haters are usually the ones closest to you. And I can't, I don't get it, bro. I don't.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually speaking to a girl last night on the phone about it, and I was talking to her, and then she said something, and I said, what are you talking about? And I said, is that the video I just posted? Are you talking about the video I just posted? And she goes, yeah. And I said, okay. And I just waited. You didn't like it. And she's just like, no, I'm not going to like it. And I was just like, that. I was just thinking to myself, like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Bro. Strangers are the ones that do our best work, bro.
Have you heard of tall poppy syndrome?
Yeah.
That's huge in Australian culture.
It is, bro.
In the world's culture, bro. It's like, you know, they love you until you do something and then they start to hate you.
Yeah. And I thought tall poppy syndrome was all about strangers not wanting other people to be better than them. Like seeing someone do really well that you've never met and go, fuck that guy. Who cares about that guy? He got lucky or, you know. But tall poppy syndrome is actually based on your community. It's actually based on the people you went to school with, based on the people in your family, based on the people that are in your friend group. Like, what? It blows my mind, bro. So,
yeah.
And it's great. I got to this point because we were discussing how awesome it is to have people actually showing the love and support online. And I bet that that's something that you've definitely gotten over the years of doing the crazy art you've done, you know, like.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's been good, bro. Like, it's quite humbling to know, like, it's quite humbling when people are actually a fan of your work. Like I don't have like, oh fuck, how am I gonna say that?
It's a good feeling, but it's a strange feeling. Is that what
it is, yeah. Yeah, like I don't know, bro. I'm a pretty basic dude, you know. Like I'm not arrogant or anything like that. Like, but I just believe in what I do. Like I believe in my artwork. Like I love doing what I do, and it's cool when other people notice that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a mad way to say it, bro. It's a mad way to say it, and it is cool, but it is also just as weird. Like and like you don't really put your face too much in your content as well, which is it's a different experience, and I guess I'm familiar with. So I don't really know what that's like to just have your art out there and people become a fan of your art. You know, that's really cool. But it's also just as weird for someone like me who has my face on the internet, and by no stretch of the imagination do I have fucking much attention online. Like I've got the people that know me and then everyone else in the world, right? But it is really weird when someone recognizes you in public and be like, "Yeah, bro, hey, you seen that?" Like maybe like 10 days ago, I was at the gym. Someone's just like kind of lurking a little bit, and strike up a conversation with him, say, what's your name? What's his name? Yes, yeah, oh, hey, I'm Doxie. And he goes, yeah, I know. But like, I've seen like your posts and stuff like that.
Oh, bro.
And like, they don't come around very often. Like, let's just say I can count them in both hands, definitely.
Yeah.
but when they do come up, it's just like, what? Like,
it's strange.
What?
It's really weird. Yeah.
Like, I'm just me, bro. Like,
just a regular dude.
I got a friend, Alex, that I've become friends with since doing the podcast. Like, we've talking a few times since then, and he was mentioning to me last time, he's like, bro, it's so weird getting recognized, and like people have been starstruck. He said this to me once. He goes, people have been starstruck, and he was having a conversation with it, and as he was talking about it, someone got starstruck. Like, and he's like, bro, I don't understand what's happening anymore. You know? Oh, bro. It's crazy.
With me, like I know it's just a lot of my artwork. I've been wanting to do more personal content in terms of like putting my face on there. It's just daunting, bro.
Yeah.
It's so daunting. It's just like, on one hand, I feel like I'm losing my privacy a little bit. But on the other hand, I want people to know that I'm an actual human being. Like I'm a person. I'm not a factory in fucking Saudi Arabia or some shit who's making pears.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the biggest catch at the moment, is that I want people to know that I'm an actual person. I love to do this. This is my passion, you know? And it's something I haven't communicated on the page, which is something I want to communicate. Yeah.
Well, if it's something you want to do, bro, I think by all means do it. Like it'll be a leaf always left unflicked. It's like, it's funny how you say it's been daunting, because it reminds me of literally Dawn from High Society, right?
Yeah, bro. He's a great example of just do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, because he's like.
And you
his
told me
work
you
is
have gone back and
phenomenal,
forward
bro.
as well. I think he said the same thing to me. You're still going back and forward as well. Is that right? Like you've
Yeah.
discussed.
I mean, we haven't. I've been a bit shit with communication.
Believe me, he is too. If you ever watching, yeah, but nah, it's all love. I know he's busy. Trust me, I'm just joking. Yeah.
Yeah, we have ideas in the works. He messaged me on my backup page, so I don't know if he knows my actual page.
Yeah.
So
It's funny because that's how I did it
text
too.
him.
Eh?
Like, but yeah, he's done an amazing job with his personability. Like, it's honestly, if I'm gonna start doing that type of stuff, he's the first one I'm gonna look at.
Yeah.
Because it's just, yeah, it's great, you know. And his following exploded because people know he's real.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just some random dude, you know. And that's my biggest problem at the moment is that people don't know if it's legit or not, and it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
Because I have to try and, like, I'm talking to someone, they're like, hey, how do I know you're legit?
Yeah.
Oh, I live in fucking Western Sydney, bro. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not running away with your money.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm passionate about this. And then, you know, I found that, you know, because I get a lot of international clients as well. I get quite a lot of people who message me from different countries. And I got a dude at the moment who's bought a pair, paid his invoice, and he's like, hey, like, how far along are we? I'm a bit nervous, you know? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump on FaceTime with him. Jumped on FaceTime with him. I was like, hey, bro, you're in safe hands. Like, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm not scamming you. I'm just shit at fucking how long things take.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, I feel so much better. So that's made me think like, okay, putting you on the page, making it about like the less of the finished product and more of the process. That's where I'm like, okay, it's time to sort of switch things up. And this is helping too, because this is going to go on my page. You know? So people will see this and be like, it's a good starting point. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that,
it,
bro. Trust me, this is a gift from me. Like, I appreciate that, but it's funny because, like, I swear, Dawn said the same thing, bro. And if you're gonna look at him like an example in front of you, like, he's got the blueprint. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's mad. And he said to me, like, I think he came on 2 weeks after he did that post of his first face reveal kind of thing. Like, this is me quitting my job, chase my dreams. That first viral post that he made, and he was like. He's like, bro, I was so nervous. I've never put my face on there. I'd never wanted to do it before. And like, as you said, it just changed the entire field of his content completely.
Yeah.
And
100%.
now all brands are doing that. I was actually speaking about someone with on the last episode that came out last Monday, and he was saying like, he's the face of his mum and dad's mum and pop shop, Manush Bakery, for 20 years they've had it. And since he's decided, you know what, I'm getting in the family business and I want to help grow this business exponentially, he's become the face of it all over the social medias, growing it. And trust me, he's grown this business really, really well.
Yeah.
But we'll discuss on the fact that like all brands have to start doing this because people are invested in the person behind the brands nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's massive. It's the way to do it nowadays, bro.
If I was to think of like one particular brand in particular, it would be G-Dub. G-Dub and Paco. I love G-Dub because I know he's designing it. I love the brand so much because of the love he has for making it, you know?
Yeah.
And he speaks about how much he's interested in it, and he shows the effort he goes to make it, and it's like, I want it, bro, because it's like the secret ingredient with cooking's always love, you know? And and there's no love if it's just autonomous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing is that's what I'm about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about that. I just have reservations with. It's a to be vulnerable with you. It's quite a battle, you know. It's like, oh, like how do I look? What are people gonna say? You know, and just, I know, like, yeah, I know it's just you got to do it. Like I know, I know what to do. I know how to do it. Doing it is the hard part.
Of course. You know? And if it makes you feel any easier hearing it, which you might already know, but I'm going to be completely honest with you, all right? I 2.5 years ago was so self-conscious. I was so in my own head and I was so scared. I hated photos. I never put up photos of myself. I never wanted to be in family photos. I hated it all the way back to high school, looking at the high school photos, because you go through the class, everyone looks cool. I get to me, why do I look like shit? Why do I look like, why does that have to be me? Why can't I be one of these guys? You know, like I've genuinely always been very, very shy. However, as soon as I started pressing record, realistically, it didn't change anything. I still didn't like it. I didn't like, especially going back and editing it and seeing myself. I didn't like hearing myself, seeing my mannerisms, my aneurysms, my tics, my stumblings. Like whatever the word is, right? Whatever the word is.
Aneurysm.
I'm sure there's an aneurysm in there somewhere, right? There'd be an aneurysm in there somewhere. But
yeah, I get you.
It took a while because I had to meet myself for the first time. And every time I'd met myself in brief instances in the past, I was expecting someone different and I wasn't impressed with who showed up. So to actually sit down, especially in long format conversations, and edit myself, what happened was I became familiar with myself. And once I realized who I was no longer surprised or shocked. And I guess I slowly was able to tweak what I didn't like. But more, the biggest prominent example of it was like, I know exactly who I'm going to see when I upload this on the computer now. And there's no shock, you know.
That's crazy, bro.
And now my next step that I'm trying to get at is being in public. So I'll be at the gym or I'll be in the shops and I'll be playing characters and I'll be even myself sometimes, and people were looking at me. I still don't like it, but you get better. It's inevitable that you'll get better at it, you know. Yeah. And you start to like yourself, you know. And it might sound weird, but like, I know who I am and I like who I am, and that's not the way it always has been. So that's what will happen as soon as you start doing it.
That's really cool, bro. Yeah. That's really cool. That's a great perspective to have about it too.
If it makes you feel any better as well, I speak to every single person that does content as much as I can. So if I see someone online that I like or is doing something cool, I'm like, fuck, bro, that's cool. And then when I do find an interest I like, I'm like, want to come talk to me about it, you know?
Yeah.
I ask everyone the same question: how do you feel being on camera? How does it feel being in public? And everyone so far has been like, bro, it's so nerve wracking. Like it
really is.
I don't know what to say. Like, you know,
it's so like, it's a psychological cop out too, because like, no one said that to you. No one's been like, you're weird for holding a camera. It's you thinking that, you know, and that's what I psych myself out about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I G my friends up sometimes and I push them, like, say I might spend a month, like, you know, subliminally, like, getting to their heads so they can start recording something, right? They might be working on their car or building something at home. I'm like, why don't you start recording it? Send me something. And I watch them be like, hey guys, so today I'm changing. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing this? And I watch them fuck it up, bro.
That's the scariest part. Like, I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say? Like,
if it makes you feel better, bro, I promise you, I never know what I'm going to say. My mate recorded for me yesterday. I had to do 2 videos at the gym. I spent 10 takes doing the first one, maybe 10. You know, it's just what happens. Like, anyone you can think of, I promise you, that has their face on the internet, they started off like, what do I do? What do I say? How do I do it? And it just becomes natural over time.
Yeah.
I think Spanian used to. When I think about Spanion's first content, the more I think about it, I'm like, that wasn't take 1. No wonder he was so pissed off at that stranger walking past him in his video. That was his 50th take.
And now he's in the alley?
Yeah. I'm like, now I understand, because he'd done it 30 times and he had it right and he ruined it. You know? That's why he was pissed off.
Poor bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. But one thing I wanted to try and transition back into the conversation about was, he said you started off at like $200 a pair for the work.
Yeah.
Did it increase over time the more you started to pick up because you were running out of time?
Yeah, it had to.
Yeah.
It had to, because it became that additive again of, if you're too busy, you're not charging enough. And I wanted to keep it honest as well. I didn't want to charge like a insane amount, you know, because it's like I just had to be honest and evaluate how long does it take, what materials am I using, what does it cost me to make it for them, you know.
What was the kind of increments they went up at? Do you remember? Like,
it was like $50 at a time.
Nice.
I'm not gonna say like what I'm at now because
You can tell me, not tell. I won't put it in. Okay, fair enough. I won't put that in the podcast, but that's a fair price, very fair price. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, like you're not just coming to a shop to buy a pair of shoes. Like you're coming to a person who spends time, and this is my passion. You know what I mean? This is what I love to do. So therefore, I don't want it to just become cut and dry, pay and ship. I want it to be an experience for you. You know.
Well, on that note, like realistically, I did mention the brand G'd Up before, but as I said, one of the reasons why I really like the product is because of the passion behind it.
Yeah.
And that also includes the experience in what buying a jumper from G'd Up is. So you know exactly when it's been shipped, you're into it, you get access into a community, it comes to your house, the packaging is perfect, so when you open it, you see what part of it you want to see first, you know, like there is a entire, as you said, experience behind what gaining the thing is.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And that's kind of like going out for a really nice feed. This is what I say to one of my mates who's he's a chef, bro.
Yeah.
He's such a chef. Eating from you isn't food, it's an experience.
Yeah.
Because you can't believe what you're tasting, the textures, the flavors, the temperatures. Like it's more than just putting food in my belly for nutrients. Like that's what that's what your prize is, you know.
And then when you find out that it comes from someone who's passionate about what they do, it changes the whole complete story. You know?
Yeah.
Like it changes it completely.
And
so.
and little things just work so well together, bro. Like the fact that you have, and this isn't a goal of life by any means. This isn't something to hold too much value to. I'm saying this for myself. Like say like a big following on Instagram or a solid fan base or a solid community. But when you have gained the trust of others and you have people who appreciate your work to be considered fans, then for people to know that I got it from them is an experience in themselves. Yeah. I gotta be honest, bro. Like I've talked to you a bit, like leading up to this episode. But if you like my photo, there's a part of my head that goes, "Yeah, marked by Eazy, like my photo." You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if that might be a flaw that I have as a person, or if it might be a clout chasing trait, or for whatever reason it is. But there is something awesome to know that I think passion finds passion.
Yeah.
You know, and I could get 1,000 people that are just not exposing their interests online. But when other people expose their interests and we're interacting and engaging and talking and communicating, and even if it's just liking and commenting, it's like I feel a part of a community of people who are passionate people, you know? And I think that people who are a fan of people, they're not just a fan of them for their personality, they're a fan of them for their passion. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 100%.
And that's an experience. You get to join their world.
Yeah, man. And like, I try to do what I can creatively with the shoes to give you an experience as well. Like, something I do is I flip the Nike box inside out.
Oh, that's
so then you're
cool.
not just getting a Nike box. Like, I sign it and I put a size tag on it as well.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So it's not just. I'm not just handing you another pair of shoes. It's like, oh, this is different. Something I started doing as well is I've got aglets. So I've designed, see the edge of the laces?
Yeah.
I designed my own.
I've seen that online, bro.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yes. Yeah. So I put them on every custom I do.
Yeah, you know?
That's so it's something different. I do, I've got like a little comm slip that my partner designed. She's been such a help, dude, honestly.
Shout out.
Massive help. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, she'll kill me.
And what's a comm slip? Like, what does that mean?
It's just like a thank you note.
Okay.
So I've just got like hey, thank you so much for like believing in me, and I can't wait for you to get your pair, and like just thanks for your support. Basically.
Yeah, mad.
And then in the last 6 months, I recently started doing like an authenticator. What is it?
Authenticator?
A certificate of authenticity.
Oh, yeah, mad.
Yeah. So I started doing a certificate of authenticity.
Yeah, You
and I sign it, and yeah.
I decided to cut you off, but it's like
you
you're really painting me the picture of what it means to experience what it's like to get an actual pair, Mark Eazy pair. Like it is more than just a painted pair of shoes. Like it's someone's baby. Like, you know, like you're buying a project. You're buying buying an experience.
Yeah, 100%. I take all the care in the world, you know, with each pair, and if I'm not happy with it, you know, I'll work on it until I'm happy with it.
I wonder if there's a business model for that, because you're really making me think like if every business did that, I reckon the planet would be a better planet. To know that everywhere you went, every house that I go to service an aircon, I'm also there to, you know, empty the litter box, you know what I mean? Or something like, you know, like drop an air freshener, or like, I guess the equivalent as a service mechanic, or someone like myself who goes sometimes. I mostly do installation for commercial refrigeration, but I'm using aircon as an example. But if I was to go to someone's house and ask about how someone's day was, get to know them, you know, like offer to take my shoes off at the front door. Really, you're not just there to put in the aircon, you're there to make someone's day better. Yeah. You know, and I guess that's the metaphorical example of buying a custom piece of art of someone.
Yeah. And that leads me into why it's called Marked by Eazy. So
here we go. Yeah.
the way I came up with Marked was just from my personal relationship with God. And it talks a lot about in the Bible being marked for purpose. And I don't necessarily think my purpose is shoes, but it's creativity. You know what I mean? And connecting to people through creative outlets. And then on the other hand as well, the shoes are marked by me. So, you know, it works both ways. It has like a deeper meaning, and then it has sort of like...
I love that. Yeah. And that, to be honest, bro, I could talk about that all day. I think that the goal of your purpose and your passion is what most people are looking for 24/7. And in some ways, it's easy, and I can only really speak for men, but I'm going to do my best in case there are any women out there listening as well, so I'm going to do my best as well. But I feel like a lot of women have, in somewhat of a way, an easier hand, and men do it in a different way. But a lot of women feel the destiny and the calling for motherhood, you know, and that feminine nature to raise the children in the home. Like I know that fulfills so much passion in the world, but men haven't necessarily got that escape to go towards, not escape, but like calling to go towards. Men are just, even if they have kids most of the time, like they can be raising their kids and they can just, fuck, what am I doing with my life? Why aren't I made something yet, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like pretty much everyone has a calling, but no one, and at least very rarely do people figure out what that calling is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think mine's meant to be podcasting and networking, communicating and creating engaging conversations. I do love this stuff, but I think I'm still looking for mine. I've got to be completely honest with you.
I think from where I'm sitting, you have a passion for personability. You have a passion for studying a person rather than seeing them for the surface level stuff. And that's rare, bro. That's really rare.
You think so?
100%.
Okay. I didn't know if it was rare or not.
But well, because every time I talk to you, you're inquisitive. Like you're intrigued or like curious as to like go deeper a little bit, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, so why does that do that for you? Or, you know?
And I do find myself, and to be honest, naturally curious. I want to know why people do what they do, how they got there, where they came from, and to be honest, where they're going. You know what I mean? It's cool to find out the stories of like how people's experiences were. Like when you listen to Joe Rogan's and Chris Williamson's and all these big podcasts like Diary of a CEO, they sit down with people that founded Netflix and the Mike Tysons and like all these massive names, and they talk about their life. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like I already know everything they've ever done. Like I want to get to know people now and like how they got to where they are now and where they want to go for what they want to go to, you know? The origin stories are so much better to me than that.
100%. Yeah,
and I just find myself,
product,
I'm fortunate to be in the origin stories of so many people. You know, most people I sit down with are under the age of like 32, realistically. So everyone's got plenty more years to just keep kicking ass, you know.
Yeah, bro.
And
Yeah, I think it's dope, man. I
think
really do.
maybe
I
that is
admire it
mine.
a lot. You know, it's you don't get a lot of it in conversation nowadays. You know,
maybe.
Well,
I guess I'm not really sure. Maybe I trust your judgment, like, because I'm not familiar with it, because I'm always the one asking the questions. And then to be honest, when someone's not, I'll just tell them mine anyway. Like, I don't care whether they're asking for it or not. Yeah. But to have your purpose and to know you're at least you're passionate at the moment, which is a big enough thing, and to put that on God as well is actually a beautiful thing to do, you know, because you feel like God has given you this for this reason.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than shoes. You know, it's my way of connecting to people as well.
No, I can see it, bro. 100% I can see it.
Yeah.
I think everyone's marked for something. And even when you said everyone's marked for connecting with people through whatever that thing might be, some people might, like myself, you know, like I find that I have that natural draw to inquisition and curiosity, and that's my connection to people, figuring out who they are. And maybe yours would be, you know, connecting people through the artwork in which you're creating. And then, as you said, just through doing that, you're already having FaceTimes with people. Bro, trust me, I'm not ripping you off. I got this, you know what I mean? That's that connectivity again. And maybe everyone's just got a different way of communicating and connecting, you know, which is cool. Yeah, bro, that's mad. And it just worked out as well. Mark, you know, like
there's a lot of Marks, a lot of Eazy.
Where'd the easy bit come from?
That was my tag.
Oh, mad.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
good word to use, bro. Sick word to use. A Z in the middle of a tag is a mad letter to use.
It wasn't for a couple years.
Yeah.
But
It
was a tricky one. I'm like, bro, I can't just use an S. I'm just like, Z's different.
Yeah.
So, but I picked that because of NWA. So Easy E. I was like, bro, Easy's, that's so dope. Like, that's such a mad way to look at it, like way to spell it. Like it looks cool.
Yeah.
And that was like when I was in like year 7. You know what I mean?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. I had like quite a few different tags.
Yeah.
But then Easy just stuck.
Nice. So. I'd love to say mine, but I'm definitely not. My mates fucked it up for me. So my mates ruined it for me. Yeah, that's cool. I remember back in the day though, going Glenwood days, we had HCP. I'll say that one. Hills Crew Pride. So trash, but
well, you think it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, we are on top of the world.
Yeah. One of my mates said he's seen it the other day on a bin, and he's just like, no way. It would have been 10 years since at least 10 years. Bro. It would have been 12 years since we read that on that bin. That's hilarious. That's so cool.
Oh,
so today, the pieces that I see online, I wonder. Okay, I don't really know how I want to answer this as well. I might change the question a little bit before I come back to that one as well. But with what you're doing today, how many people do you reckon are also doing similar things? You know, I don't see anyone else doing it like you, but just the painting of shoes and stuff like that in general. Obviously, you got Bomber who does his materials stitching and things like that, which is a whole different realm of the same category.
Yeah.
But how many people do you reckon are doing customizing in that regard when it comes to shoes?
As far as I know, not many.
I reckon you'd know if there was a lot, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always hunting, and you can't always find people. So I don't know if there is anyone like doing it. Yeah, no, I don't like, honestly, in my research, because I'm like, oh, what are other people doing? I want to know what the competition looks like, what other people's work looks like, you know? And I haven't really found a lot. There was a guy when I first started doing TNs that was around, is this arrogant to say, but he was the me of back then.
No, that's not arrogant to say at all. Yeah.
You're
very humble, bro. You're very humble.
Sorry.
I would have just been like, yeah, he wished he was me.
He was doing it when I first started, and his work influenced my work a little bit. But he doesn't do it. Like he stopped doing it in like 2015 or Probably stopped doing it in like 2018.
Wow.
Something like that.
So you might be like one of the only real guys doing it, bro.
Yeah, and
That's
I mean,
sick.
like it's kind of crazy, bro. Like I've got a bit of a global following as well. Because the TN Australia of Europe follows me as well, and he reposts things as well. So I get a lot of people from London who want pairs. I've done a pair for like a couple dudes in Dubai.
Wow.
Spain, Croatia, Switzerland. So random places. I'm like, bro, I grew up in Glenwood. Like what? This is crazy for my work to get there.
That outreach is magnificent. That is so cool. I wish that you could just draw. I wish there was an animation showing me right now of all the pairs of sneakers just taking off from Australia and just spreading out. Spreading out across.
I should make that.
That'd be a cool thing to have on a website or something.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's really cool. I've got like a couple dudes from London at the moment that I'm working on stuff for them. Yeah, it's cool, bro.
Yeah.
It's quite humbling, you know?
Yeah.
Like, damn, like you want my work?
Because, bro, trust me, I've got some ideas in my head that I'd love to shoot with you after the episode in case anyone else wants to get in there first. So I'll do them off camera. I've got some fucking pretty exciting stuff I want to start doing.
Yeah, bro.
But do you ever see yourself going outside of the sneakers, or are you gonna stick with the sneakers for now? Like,
yeah, I've got plans that I want to grow. I want to grow it, man. Like I really want to grow it.
I just thought of a mad idea for you. How's this? I might leave this in just in case you ever do it. I get to be like, fuck yeah, I gave you that idea. All right. What if you could give someone the design print of their colorway, the design of, and then your stencil? Then they go, yep, I love it, perfect. You send them the little thing that you've made on your, what do you call it? What's the app? Procreate. You've sent them the Procreate, and they go, perfect shoe. You make it for them, you send it to them, but in the box, there's a white T-shirt with the little logo, the same one on the T-shirt, bro. And it's got Mark Eazy on the back.
Well,
damn, you've already thought of it.
This is one thing. Yes, yeah. I love clothing. Like I'm a big, like I love fashion and stuff like that. I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And
well, the shoes have to match the top, don't they? They got to match the top.
100%. Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to do like hoodies and t-shirts.
Nice, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where my artwork is on there as well. So that's phase 2, I think.
We're not
going to put that in there in case someone steals it.
Yeah. I'll beep that bit out so I heard the name of that. Yeah.
And then as a clothing brand and then have them separately.
Nice, bro. Some mad stuff coming up then, bro. I'm going to be real with you, right? There's a crazy force that happens in this. How do I want to say this? All right, I'll say it like this. This podcast has magical powers. I'm going to say this, right? And so far, everyone that's told me what they want to achieve have achieved it. Yeah, everyone that I go back from episode, my mates in the beginning, the guests that I've reached out to, the goals that people have gone through with their careers in terms of lawyers and these are the ones I use as clear examples, lawyers or paramedics or people in their trade side in their own businesses, or you have your athletes who have gone for kickboxing world champions, jiu-jitsu champions. You have all these, everyone has achieved and done what they told me they were going to do, which is just so fortunate for me. And to be honest, it even goes as far as like I've had people in my life passed away and I've done episodes with them in the past. And in our episodes, they've mentioned and talked about passing away and didn't expect to live long, didn't expect to live all this stuff. And the power of manifestation and writing your own destiny, writing your own future is clearly a force in this universe that we can't argue with, right? And I'm just lucky enough that I get to record that because it's not really power of the podcast. It's not like the Doxcast has really got magical powers, but the magic is that I get to capture what's happening and people don't realize it.
That's really cool, bro.
I can go back and look at myself talk about shit from 130 weeks ago and go, yep, look at that, 110 weeks ago I did that, you know? And it's an accident. I didn't even mean it, you know? And it really is magical, bro. It's powerful. So if you tell me you'd love to have this stuff coming out in the future, I have nothing but expectations that it's going to happen, you know? Like, it's just like when's going to happen is completely up to you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's so
and
cool.
it does help that my partner is she has a background in fashion development, fashion design.
Yeah.
So
I think you're a good match then, eh?
Yeah, we do well. We do well. She's great, bro. Honestly.
How long have you been together for?
6 years.
Wow, yeah, that's a long time.
6 years. Yeah.
I've never had a girlfriend for 6 years, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, longest one.
It's impressive.
Longest relationship.
Yeah.
But most fulfilling and best.
I miss the not make it work, eh? That's me. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it's all self-sabotage, believe me. I know my flaws. We don't need to go into that. Yeah.
About some back in the day.
Nah, she sounds like a cool girl, bro. Like that sounds like, and especially she said she went to uni and she's gone to do a bachelor's as well. Is that what you said?
Yeah, she did a bachelor in fashion design.
Yeah, switched on. Yeah. You got to keep her.
Yeah,
right,
right,
keep her. Smart guy. Stick her around.
Anyway.
Smart guy. Yeah.
That was creepy. But yeah, bro, we have plans. We've made like a few sort of mock-ups and stuff. Nothing I'm really settled on just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a whole different battle, bro. You know, and I feel like now is the best time for it to come about because I've worked so hard to get myself organized when it comes to backlog. So like I've been battling the backlog monster for freaking 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
It's terrible, man. And finally got things in place where it's like, okay, I don't have to look back at the work that I need to do now. I can start to, what can I move forward? Like, what can I start to work on in the future? So, yeah, man, we're gonna get into it.
Nice. That's exciting. Cool, bro.
I had I don't know if you know him. He'd be good for here, by the way. Nicky Stitch.
Nicky Stitch, yeah, he works for G'd Up now, doesn't he?
Yeah. So when he first started making hats, he messaged me and was like, "Hey, bro, can you send me a logo? I'm going to send you a couple hats." I was like, "No way." And so he made me like my first couple samples of like 5-panel hats and stuff like that, and I was like, "Bro, this is crazy."
Wow.
He's been a huge supporter of me, bro.
Wow.
Honestly, like.
I think about it, I do notice. I think I've seen him commenting on your photos before. I have.
Yeah. Ask him for advice. Fuck.
Can I have to cut that bit out of the podcast? Or can I leave that bit in? I can cut it out if you want.
I'll ask Nikki.
Yeah.
I'll ask Nikki.
Yeah. That is so. You know what? I'll cut it out just to be safe. But let me just say that is hectic.
Yeah.
That is so hectic.
He's been such a good support, and he showed my stuff to G'd Up guys and everything, and they love it.
You know what's cool, bro? I've really, really opened my eyes to this through this conversation because I think of art. I use the word art to describe emphasis and passion towards custom designing of anything. Like even in my trade, not every day, definitely not. But let's just say I get the time and the budget, I'll make a fucking piece of art out of my refrigerator. I'll turn this construction site, plant room or warehouse or factory into what looks like art. I'm like straight leveled, like everything I've planned it, I've painted it, like I'm going hard with it. But when I think of art, realistically, I'm just going to think of paintings. And I think of how like it's stupid that paintings are worth so much money. Like I'm like, even fucking $5,000 for painting, I'm thinking to myself like sometimes like, why? Like it's a fucking painting. But I'm really starting to understand like it's not the painting that people buy, it's the artist people buy. It's why people buy the painting.
Yeah.
You know, I never even fucking thought of that before this conversation.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's important, like one of two things, right? Like you can be creative in anything you do. Anything you can do. Anything you do, you can have a creative spin on it or it makes you an artist. There's an artistry to it. Like you're saying that you're putting in fridges.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's an art to lining things up straight. Mm-hmm. There's an art to freaking the screw.
Bro, even welding, one weld. That one weld, I don't, like, let's use an example, but this one weld, you could spend every millimeter of diameter, making sure it's the perfect looking weld, and it didn't take too long. You used the perfect amount of material, you didn't waste it. But then you got 1,000 of in one job. If you can do 1,000 of those in one job and everything's also straight and level, no one can pick on it. Like, it's immaculate. Like, to me, that's art, bro. Like, yeah,
it came from your hands, which is so important. Like, we're created to create.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
as human beings, we're created as human beings, we're created to create.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm speaking to a lad at the moment in Queensland. I discovered him maybe 2 weeks ago. He does this. As soon as I seen one photo, I messaged him. I said, "You're from Australia, yeah?" He goes, "Yeah, Brisbane." I said, "Damn it, but I'm gonna come. I need to come see you." He's like painter with street art incorporated with sneakers and all this stuff. I might show you the page after this, but
yeah, definitely.
It's cool. I might try and get someone who does painting on the podcast at some point. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
anyone creative, bro. I love talking to them about it. Like, it's cool. Where do you get most of your inspiration when it comes to the colors and stuff? Like, do you just play around with them and see what works, or
bro,
like?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, because that was one of the things I was like, bro, I'm fucking passionate about this.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about the science behind colors.
Awesome.
You know, so I'm discovering it at the same time. I know it sounds fancy, but like, there is a science to it. You know, putting different colors with pairing them triggers different things in your brain, stuff like that. Like, colors can trigger memories, colors can trigger feelings, which is crazy, bro. It's so nuts.
You know, I said this on the last episode exactly. Red and yellow together makes you hungry. Makes you hungry. Why Macca's is red and yellow.
Well, red, yellow, and red and white.
Yeah.
KFC, Aporto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them.
They know what they're doing, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the psychology around colors is so fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you can't lie. Like, these shoes are blue and black. Do they not feel like a nice cold color? Like to me, they feel that. Like,
yeah. Oh, I mean, like,
how can a color feel cold? Yeah.
Bro,
that's mad. So then where do you try and find your inspiration to try them out? Like, how do you kind of put it together?
One of my biggest inspirations is tropical fish.
Wow.
You look at the colors on tropical fishes, man. Fishes? Fish-eye?
Fish.
Fishes. Fishes.
Tropical fish, that's it.
You look at the colors on tropical fish.
Tropical fishies.
Yeah, you look at the tropical colors on fishies.
Yeah.
And they're stunning.
Yeah.
Like, they're incredible, bro. They're unbelievable. Anything, man. Anything really. Like, my mind works in a strange way where, like, if I like the look of something, or if I like the color palette of something, I'll try and see what it looks like on a pair of Tans or on a pair of shoes. You know?
It's a good way to go, bro. Fish, because there's some colorways out there. Eh?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Strong neon yellows with pinks and pink and blue. Things like that, bro. This crazy.
Blue and greens, blue and yellows. Like, yeah, there are some crazy fish out there, bro. That's a great place to get your inspiration from.
Yeah, especially with the TN market as well. People tend to gravitate more towards the brighter colors.
Yeah.
I tend to do a lot more like neons and things like that, like bright, out there, stand out type of things.
Yeah. It's just a bad statement. It's just such a eye drag. It's like, it gets your attention. It's a head turner. It's a neck breaker. Like, a nice bright, especially my favorite colorway is a white with any color, a bright color in the white. That's my favorite colorway for sure. Yeah,
man. I think definitely tropical fish. I love redesigning famous Nike colorways. There's a super famous pair of MX1s called the Viatech MX1s, and they're like holy grails for people, bro. Like, and how can I say it? So I love to take the famous colorways of previous pairs of shoes and try and see what it would look like on a pair of TNs.
Mad.
And not only digitally, but I can make it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So the editor-in-chief of Sneaker Freaker has asked me to do a couple pairs for him. which is a pretty big deal. Like, not to get a big head.
yeah.
But actually, okay. I'll tell you a story because I wanted to mention this anyway. But on the 25th anniversary of the MX Plus, MXTN, Foot Locker collaborated with Sneaker Freaker for like a pop-up show in Sydney, and also did a like a book.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they did like tea and culture book and everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah. They sell them at this shop if anyone wants to get one. It's a great shop. It's called Kafsh, Kasfh. Kafsh, they sell them at the moment. It's in Newtown.
Yeah. I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah, he's a nice guy that works there. His name's Ollie. He's a mad cunt. He's a legend.
Yeah, mad.
Kafsh actually means shoe in like wherever he's from, not Portugal, somewhere. But it means shoe. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. They did a book, and the editor-in-chief messaged me and asked me if I wanted to put stuff in the book.
Wow.
So I was blown away by that opportunity, bro. Like,
that's mad.
To be even considered for that was so humbling.
Wow.
So humbling. Because it's global. It's global. Like to be considered as a front runner for nice.
Yeah. I wonder where you got that.
To be considered as a front runner for like the tea and culture, with just simply doing what I love to do was massive for me, bro. Like I was blown away by it, and I gave him a couple of photos, and he put them in the book, and then I got invited to the friends and family pop up for the shop for the book release, and they did like a sort of like a gallery vibe for the new release for the 25th anniversaries. So I went there, like got a book, everything like that, like seen myself in the pages, and I was like,
that's so
holy crap. Like there's people everywhere, bro. And I literally felt like the only person there. I was like, this is amazing.
Good work, bro.
Yeah, bro. It was surreal. Like just, yeah.
It
seems small, but for me, it was massive. I met Woody, who's the editor-in-chief, and you know, such a nice dude. They're in Melbourne. They're based in Melbourne. So no, we chopped it up for a bit. Like we chatted and stuff, and I said to him, I ran my pitch from Foot Locker. I was like, bro, let's get a pair done for you. And he's like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. I was like, do you have any colorways in your mind? And he goes, yeah, I really want to do like something pink. I whipped my phone out and started designing it in front of him, and he was like, holy shit, like, this is fucking dope. Like he was blown away that I was like designing it in front of him.
Yeah.
And then it was really cool. It was really cool, bro. Like he signed my book and everything, and like it was pretty cool. And then a couple weeks later, I messaged him. I was like, hey, bro, should we get that pair going? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. We ended up FaceTiming for a bit, chatted about the pair, and then I sent it off to him. I made it, did it, finished it. Like it was you can put a photo of it up if you want, like, on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it was like a coral pink pair with a camo fade on the sole.
Man.
And it was so nice, bro. I was like, damn, I'm going to keep these. Same size as me. I was like, I'm going to keep these. But yeah, I sent it off to him, and Sneaker Freaker like reposted it. And then like they've got 1.5 million followers.
Really?
Yeah. So they're like, bro, they're like OGs, bro. In sneaker culture, they've been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a magazine. It started as a magazine, and it's online and stuff like that. They still do mags and everything.
I might even have to follow. I don't even know if I'm following Sneaker Freaker.
Yeah, do it, bro. It's dope. But yeah, so I did one pair, and he loved them. We did a second pair, and I've done 3 for him now.
Yeah, mad.
And coming back to the colorways thing, we did one of his favorite pairs was was the Viotech MX1s. And I was like, why don't you let me try and recreate it on a pair of TNs for you? He's like, go for it. No other words, no input, nothing. He's like, just go for it.
Wow.
And I did it, and I had to mix and color match every single color. There was like maybe 6 or 7 different tones of browns and things like that on the shoe.
Yeah.
So I spent ages on like color matching and stuff like that, and I love that, bro. That's my favorite part of the job is color matching, getting that perfect tone. Like that's the best thing.
And is it good to like do it, walk away, have another look at it again? Like,
oh yeah, bro. Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you're in it, like when you're mixing it, like yeah, this is sweet. You go step in the sun and it's different. You're like, fuck, I gotta do it again.
yeah.
So it's pretty cool, man. I love working with color. You know, that's one of my biggest something I love the most about what I do is
I can
color,
tell,
man.
bro. Like you wouldn't have the passion you have if you didn't love the colors, because the colors are just so unique as well. You know, that's one thing that really stands out about the shoes, especially. I have to say this, if it hasn't been clear for anyone listening already, like the shoes are literally one of a kind. There's nothing close to it. The shoes that come out don't look anything like your customs. Like they can't compare. You know, like
Thanks, man.
I don't know. They need to hire you, I reckon, if they want to. Yeah.
Well, that's
here's an idea. Then here's an idea. If Foot Locker's ever listening, or I guess Foot Locker has the exclusive, so they may as well be listening. So
yeah, they're the only ones that can exclusives. Yeah,
they need to do a install Foot Locker exclusive marked by Eazy pop up, where people would come in and then just design whatever they wanted on a blank pair of sneakers, and you go, yep, all right, that's exactly what you want. Yep, you have a couple models. Yeah, what do you like? What do you not like? Let's make them. Imagine a bunch of iPads. Everyone's designing what they want in the beginning. No worries. It's going to take a month. It's going to take 2 months. You know, more and more people.
That would be awesome, bro. That would be so good. I mean,
imagine all the TNs you'd sell, all the whites. Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I've been, that's leads me into the 2 things, bro, is, are we going overtime or are we
No, that's all right. Let's just shoot those two things.
Yeah, cool. So Foot Locker had a meet and greet with the creator of the TNs, Sean McDowell.
Yeah.
And working at Foot Locker, I got an invite. So I thought, this is a great opportunity. Instead of just going and meeting him, why don't I make him a pair of shoes? So I fucking ADHD kicked in, so I didn't start making them until the night before.
Yeah.
I made him a colorway that it consists of 7 pastel colors, and they're arranged in warm to cold and then cold to warm. So one shoe ascends as warm to cold and the other goes the other way.
Mad. That's mad.
I loved it. It was like one of my favorite pairs I've ever designed.
Yeah.
And my pitch for the shoe to him was that Sydney is vibrant. Sydney is bright, you know? Like this pair is called, I called them Bondi, but they're also called the Tropical Punch. So, I did like a Sydney city skyline on the back in a silhouette. And then I did my logo on the other side. And it was cool, man. I finished them at 5 in the morning, and then it started at 7. So I literally like showered, got ready. I'm like half asleep, smashed 2 friggin' Red Bulls.
Yeah.
And went and took him the pair. And what was cool is the Foot Locker employees that were there got like a 15-minute head start to meet him, and there was only 3 people.
Wow. So
I let them do their thing. They said hello, meet and greet, blah, 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 this and that. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to, it's my turn. So I walked up to him and I was like, dude, just thank you. Thank you for designing the shoe. Like the following and the community behind your work has inspired me to do this. And he was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, thank you so much. It's insane to see how much is behind this one pair of shoes I designed. And yeah, anyway. I was like, hey, look, I made you something. And gave him the shoe, and he was blown away. This is the creator of the TNs, bro.
Bro, this is
like,
the craziest
this is the
story
dude
ever.
that designed this shoe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was blown away, and he was humble, man. But he was asking me questions. Like, he was so intrigued. Like, and I was like, bro, he actually cares, you know. Like, he's like, oh, how did you do this part? Like, how did you create this fade? Or like, you know, what made you put this color here? And he was very inquisitive about it. And I was like, oh, this dude actually cares. And like, man, it was cool. And he was blown away by it. He's like, that's the best gift I've ever gotten from someone.
That
and I was
is
like,
so
dude,
crazy.
the cool
bro.
thing is, one of the Foot Locker employees that was with me recorded the whole thing. So I've got the whole conversation on video. And he's like, so where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do with this? And I was like, I would love to design for Nike. I would love to do that. And he's like, well, why don't I use some of my contacts to see if I can get you in the door, get your foot in the door? Because he was telling me that that's how he started designing shoes, was he was just messing around. So I feel like he felt that connection. He's like,
Yeah.
Young guy doing what he loves to do,
Oh,
wants to go somewhere. And I was like, bro, blown away.
that story's not over, bro.
No, it's not.
Nah.
there's more.
Okay, yeah.
Tell me if I'm babbling.
No.
So the pop-up happened after the 25th anniversary. What do you call it? I gave Sean all my details. I was like, hey, you know, I'm not just going to be like, that random dude in Sydney gave me a pair of shoes. I was like, yo, this is who gave you the shoes.
Yeah.
So I gave him my contacts. I didn't hear anything for a couple months. And then I messaged Woody and I was like, hey, bro, do you guys have any connection to Sean? I really want to get in contact with him because he was telling me like he was going to help me with Nike. He said, give me an hour. Bro, Woody CC'd me in an email with Sean's email. And we were having a three-way conversation. I'm having a three-way conversation with these two freaking legends, bro.
Yeah,
like
bro.
Pioneers. I was like, what the fuck? This is weird, bro.
Yeah.
So Sean got me in contact with
Let's just say that story's unfinished. Like, I meant it when I said that. Like, the world is your oyster at this point, bro. Honestly, I've been so impressed. I didn't know, bro. I swear to God, I asked you to come to a podcast because I like the work you do. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's just pick his brain about how he paints it and like how long does it take to dry? And like, it's just that's the thought I was going to get at when I had this conversation. But like, there's so much more passion and effort and love and thought and creativity going into what you're doing than I could have ever imagined, to be honest with you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And the world needs to hear more of it. I swear to God. Like, this can't just be limited to me and my information and whatever. I'm very grateful followers that are listening to this as well. Like, like you said it before, like you want to start putting your face out there more and telling your story. Like, you've got a story, bro. Like, this is crazy origin story. It's already more than the origin story, bro.
I appreciate it, bro.
Hard work and passion, bro. It pays off. Someone just wrote this quote yesterday. Luck happens when preparation meets opportunity. And it's everything I've been hearing today. Like, it's fucking so cool. The owner of the guy who designed the TNs, that you gave him a pair of yours that you designed. Like,
yeah. It just happened by chance. Like, it was such a random.
That's not chance, bro. That's marked. You know what I mean?
That's marked. I like that. Yeah, bro. Like it. I was just like, oh, I got to do it. And you know, it at the time. I mean, I haven't been great with finances. So
join the club, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not good either.
Cost of living is fucking retarded.
Cost of my hobbies is fucking retarded. That's what it is.
What's more important?
Yeah.
No, but I didn't have the money to buy the shoe for him to do. like to do for him. So like it was a bit dodgy, but I used one of my client's pairs.
Yeah, you do what you got
and
to do.
then I
bro.
reimbursed the client. Obviously, reimbursed the client.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is my only option. Like, I have to go in the minus.
Yeah.
To make this happen.
Of course.
So,
Of course. You seize
bro.
that opportunity. Do not, bruh, please.
I was like, whatever I need to do. And another thing is, I had no idea what this guy's size of his shoe was.
Oh.
No idea. I was like, I want to make him a pair of shoes, but what if I make him the wrong size? I messaged Woody, like maybe like a day or two before. I was like, bro, your research team, because they've got a huge office, bro. They're a big fucking legit company.
Yeah.
I was like, can your research team find Sean's shoe size? And he's like, this is what he said. He's like, give me an hour. In an hour, he messaged me back. He's like, size 9.
Wow. What a lucky guy. I wish I was size 9, bro.
Dude.
That's such a mad size.
I know, bro. I'm a fucking size 12 big ass foot.
12's easier. I'm 10 and a half. Everyone's 10 and a half, bro. I can't get nothing. Please don't use the word luck, bro. Be grateful for what it was. Like I guess you can use the word luck, but that's destiny right there, bro. That's crazy. Like, how many people do you reckon got the opportunity to have a actual face-to-face conversation for as long as you got to have it when he came?
Yeah.
Like, that's not luck.
I feel blessed about that, bro. Definitely.
That's destiny more than anything, not luck. That's incredible. You know, I like to say this to as much as I can, because I'm definitely stepping back into faith a lot more. I'm practicing going to church every Sunday. I've got church in like an hour or something like that, to be honest with you. But I think teamwork is something that I've really realized through my recent exposure to what Christianity really is. And God has a plan. So you have to understand the teamwork that it takes between God and you. You know, God's plan will not work if you do not take action. And your action means nothing without the opportunity that he gives you, you know? So be just as grateful for the opportunity that you're given, but also be proud of yourself for taking action. And let your action be an example for every action that you should continue to take forward in the future. Because Alex Hormozy has this famous quote that I love repeating as well. You have to have proof before you start making promises. Proof before promise. And look at the proof you've already got. Well, the proof is look how many pairs I've sold. Look how much that like people want them. Look at the following I've gained. I've made them for the designer. I'm the designer's designer. You know what I mean? Like, like it's evidently incredible, bro. So you already have the proof. So anything that you want to promise yourself in the future, you should already know you're going to achieve it, because look how much you've already done. So
no, I appreciate that a lot, man.
It's cool.
There's something you reminded me of something we used to say is pray like it depends on God and work like it depends on you.
Oh, please. I need to just write that down. That is the quote of the week, bro.
Oh, bro.
There's a full folder here right now. I need to write it before I forget it. All right. Let me write it real quick.
Pray like it depends.
Pray like it depends on you and work.
Oh, no. Pray. I got you. Pray like it depends on God.
Yeah.
Work like it depends on you.
God, work like it depends on you. And you know what I'm going to write underneath it? I always do a little tag marked by Eazy. Look, I hate to have to do it. I really do, because I feel like I'm just getting into the gold of so much more gems. But I say this at the end of what honestly is always at the end of a great episode, because there's so much more I want to keep talking to you about. We're going to have to do another one in the future. Right?
I'm keen, bro.
This is not the only episode. This is just the first episode. It's been incredible so far. Just let me ask you the one final question that I ask everyone that comes and does the podcast before I give you my warm welcomes and how much I'm appreciative of the episode. But the final question is, if someone came to you because they were feeling depressed, mostly because they were just lost, is there any advice you would give that person?
Yeah, 100%. I think I would tell them that they're not alone. God loves them. I think I would tell them, ooh, hit me. Got me a little bit there. Shucks. I've battled with depression and anxiety myself, with ADHD as well. So the biggest thing is that they're not alone and that God loves them.
Yeah. Well, it's to be honest, bro, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. You know, not alone is enough for most people to be able to And it might be the hardest part of it for them to be able to grasp, because when you are feeling depressed and miserable and lonely and you don't think anyone else understands. I've definitely been through it myself. Like it's pretty much a human condition that is unspoken, that everyone does go through. Yeah. Everyone wants to talk about the fact that everyone's going to get hungry, but no one wants to talk about the fact that everyone's going to get depressed, you know, like it's some reason not spoken about. But knowing that you're not alone and everyone else understands is fucking important, bro.
Yeah.
And then God loves you. I feel like no matter who you are, I just feel like it will, whether you believe or not, I believe it will help hearing it.
Yeah, he's got a plan and a purpose for everybody. You know? And hope is a conversation away.
Bro, that was actually a beautiful way to wrap that up. That was a beautiful way to wrap that up. Hope is only a conversation away. I might write that. I'm gonna write that down when you leave as well. Yeah,
bro. Knowing that someone's there for you is huge, and being that person for someone who's going through that is massive. Yeah,
absolutely, because that's all we need when we're going through it. So fuck, it's the least we can do. And to be honest, we want to. It's kind of convenient, that we want to be able to be there for someone.
Yeah,
yeah. Definitely. But to tell you the truth, bro, I honestly do wish we could yarn about this for the next 4 or 5 hours, because like
I'm just getting into the meat of it.
I swear to God, it's blowing my mind. Like I didn't know the depth in which it was behind what you do. When we FaceTime, you did say, no, like it is a good story actually. You know what? I've been thinking about it, and like I would like to share it. You know, and it's cool, bro, because I just genuinely am oblivious to the world. Doesn't matter how many conversations I have. I just expect that everyone is just naturally born doing what they're doing. You know, to hear the entire backstory of how you got into it, growing up with the street art, you know, growing up with the sneaker, working at Foot Locker, and then like the effort that you've put in to merge all these worlds together to get to where you are today. And knowing this is just the beginning, like, damn, bro. I don't think I've been this pumped up at the end of an episode in a very long time, bro. So
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
But when we wrap this up, let's chop up some ideas, all right? I wanted to get some notes.
Yeah, let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
But I have to say, bro, thank you very much for being what was such a fun, awesome conversation for me to have. So
I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for your platform and having me on, bro. I appreciate it.
Legend. And you know what? For everyone listening, thank you guys as well. It was an amazing week this week. There'll be another one next week. That's a wrap. Beautiful, bro.
Oh, you're a legend, man.
Right.